great way to start it. Welcome to Swiss Gaming. What the fuck is wrong with this brush?
There's a lot of dry paint in it. I've missed you.
Our new hobby segment.
Our new hobby segment. Bruce paints heresy. Carl thinks about smearing his lunar desert on his Alpha Legion, but probably won't because it's too much effort.
Morgan's at work.
Is he, though?
I don't know.
He should be off by now.
He was like 2 hours ago.
He, likes his wife or something, right? Gross.
Podcast with your friends about a game. Be a man.
So, a lot of big news since we last had an episode. N5's been announced.
Which is huge.
Which is awesome. New starter set has been announced and teased.
I mean, it's been pretty...
We don't even know what the pano in it is.
2 Fusiliers.
No, that's
Definitely
not
2 Fusiliers.
That's the beginner set or whatever,
that's
right?
The starter set.
So yeah, there's a new product that's worth mentioning, right? What's it called? What do they call it?
Essentials.
The Essentials set.
Is that like a term that's also used in like the card game stuff, like an Essentials box, or no? That's for D&D, right? They have like an Essentials box.
I think D&D has an Essentials box.
So I wonder if that's part of the thinking behind it.
So they got rid of Code 1, which like
good riddance.
Yeah.
Code 1 was a failure. All it did was cause confusion, and now it's causing even more confusion.
Yes.
Because people are like, oh, are my Code 1 models done? Like, is Code 1... And it's like...
Yes, your Code 1 is done. You can throw them out or sell them to me.
For free.
Yeah, give them to me. They're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with Code 1 on it is no longer valid in any game.
Yeah.
At all.
If they find out you are using the Code 1 version of those fucking Fusiliers or whatever...
They're going to smash them with a hammer.
Yeah, straight to jail.
I've seen it happen. Colorado Code was a bloodfest.
No, Code 1 was a failure of a product, to be honest. It didn't achieve its goals. It caused a lot of confusion. It was just weird.
Now we got Essentials.
The Essentials, I think, is a step in the right direction. It's still a little weird to me.
So I think it's nice that, like, it says, 6 classic miniatures, right? So it's going to be 2
Fusiliers,
Chuds and 2 Chuds and
2 Fusilier combi rifles,
which is exactly what we do for our demo games.
Which is perfect.
I usually do 3 Fusiliers, but that's fine. Yeah. It's fine, right? That is, It's a great starter because it's 2
Fusiliers and an Orc, and then 2
whatever they
Kaisotsu
are. Kaisotsu and a Shikami.
Shikami.
And I wonder how the Shikami is going to balance out versus the Orc.
I've been thinking a lot about this actually. When you consider that the Orc has better BS, and the Shikami probably doesn't want to be shooting that much versus being in...
Isn't it the multi-rifle Shikami?
No, yes. I believe so.
I think it is.
I don't know if the multi-rifle is actually modeled on that, which I should...
Or combi rifle or whatever.
Yeah, which I should know, because I have it, but I
guess I really wonder if they're going to give Mim 6 or not.
That's the real question, because if it has Mim 6 and the combi rifle, it's pretty powerful versus the Orc.
The Fusiliers slap the shit out of Kaisotsus.
They absolutely slap the shit out of the Kaisotsus. It's just a weird balanced matchup in some ways.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited.
It's fine, though. Like, those games don't have to be perfectly balanced, right? They're there to get you the ideas. Now, does that set, it comes with, like, a playmat and some of the terrain? Or
yeah, it's got, like, okay, so it's 2 of the Hex container cube things from Tag Raid, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then, like, 2 what looks like fan things.
And, like, a little playmat.
And then, like, some billboards. Yeah, playmat. But they come with the unit cards, which is, like, really cool, actually.
So a couple of months ago, I was actually thinking about making my own unit cards for demo games.
That'd be... Well, here we
just
are.
to have,
yeah,
right? Because I'm like, dude, this would be so much easier.
Which I think they have been doing that now with the demos that they
did it at Gen Con.
At Gen Con,
yeah, they did it at last Adepticon too.
Did they?
Like low-key, yeah. It was just like sitting there on the table. Nobody.
Oh, that's right.
Which is funny because this year everyone's like, "Oh my god, unit cards!" And I'm
I
like,
remember this. Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's a beautiful
for
idea.
a starter product. I like it. We don't need it for the full game.
Nope.
And that is something I'm a little apprehensive about if they start to feel like they can't change profiles or mess with stuff.
Well, you just keep it in the starter set, dude. It's combi rifles and Fusiliers.
You know what? Fair.
It's the essentials, right?
Yeah.
It's
No, you're right. Again, just like my dumbass being like, ooh.
Because I mean, even the little starter booklets has like stats and stuff in them.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
and,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just like to describe what these things are, and like that could change. It usually doesn't, right? But it could.
Japanese are going to be their own army, which is
so
super cool.
They already were, basically, but now they're going to have sectorials.
Which is cool.
Which is cool. JSA always should have been their own army.
Agreed.
The non-aligned army is It was always weird that they were in there.
Most importantly, they are definitively never coming back to Yucheng.
Good.
Which is the important thing, really. That's what means the world to me.
Yeah, I mean that's the best thing about N5 right now.
Yes,
honestly.
absolutely.
Yuching players on life
It is
support.
just peak aesthetic.
They were never coming back, you
notes.
assholes.
New
And
battle pack is cool.
they also got their reinforcement pack, and that was the thing. People were really unhappy with the reinforcements available to JSA
Yes.
specifically,
And that did suck.
and it was
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the other non-aligned armies, whatever, right?
Yeah,
like,
dude. Oh, my star code doesn't. Okay, sure, dude.
no one gives a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You're playing Starco. Like, you're mercs. You get the merc reinforcement package, and it's a basic kind of thing.
And
It's
JSA
fine.
clearly weren't mercs. And I think that was one of the things we did talk about back when we did the reinforcement extravaganza.
Yeah.
And importantly, you get what's coming to you if you play Toha still.
Yes, fact. Although Toha got reinforcements.
I know.
Did they get a box?
It was it foreign? No, was it Spiral that had the merc reinforcement package?
forget.
Yeah, they have the merc reinforcement package,
Mm.
and that's kind of sad.
So, speaking of which, though, in N5, I heard some factions are going away, which is very interesting.
So,
Where did we get that from?
That was like, I forget where it came from.
so what that
but-
could be?
Oh, it's a just trust me, bro.
no. Here's what it
No,
could
no,
be.
it's like a quote from like Rob Shepard gave a breakdown of what Carlos said at the Krug.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So here's one that could
Shout out my
immediately
boy Rob.
happen. Shock Army gone, replaced with a new one.
Yeah, okay.
Because in the fluff, Shock Army was rotated off the front lines because they got their asses kicked
Okay.
in war.
We have a
You
new
reconstitute them. You put them on a new planet. They're good at extreme shitty planet stuff, right? That's
Yeah.
their shtick.
Yeah.
You give them new regulars who are like jungle fightery guys now pressed into this new planet role.
Do you think maybe combine NCA and New Shock Army?
I don't think so.
You don't think? Because NCA's got the reinforcements. They got the blade or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
You could, but their story identity is hard to justify in that regard.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you also have a little bit of overlap in terms of like, do you really want 2 medium infantry?
Why not?
Like unique to this army, right? Like, do you want Bogmari and bolts and whatever other new things you're gonna add,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
like
That's a good point.
combining those is gonna really limit your development space for new stuff
Right.
to get people to buy,
Which is what really matters.
right? Like redoing Shock Army, giving them a new name
Mhm.
because they're no longer the Shock Army of a Constantameno, they're the Shock Army of going to this new planet, whatever it's called,
Right.
whatever Pano calls it, right? Versus JSA.
Yeah.
You get new Bogmari, you get new Garda de Asaltos,
Ooh.
maybe some new heavy infantry that are specific to this effort.
CB does not miss with the heavy infantry sculpts.
Yeah, you make them 18 points, Impetuous,
Well, you know.
give them 20 chain rifles, good to go. The fact that Shock Army didn't come back when Steel Phalanx got reworked
Yeah.
makes me think that they are in a good position to squat that army entirely and reconstitute them without the Aleph shit.
Yeah.
The weird Aleph stuff.
The new Tick Belong is
Yeah.
kind of a.
That's what I'm saying.
indicator for that, too. Like.
Why did they make that tick belong?
Yeah.
Was it for military orders?
It was not.
It was not.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they did make a military orders unique to.
And that's where I'm getting. Like, I think if they were combining with NCA, they would have redone the 2-pack.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
really interested that they made a new Radnik too. On that note,
Yeah, it's weird.
which is, I'm just gonna take that as maybe a sign of something. Who knows?
I mean, I
We'll
think
see.
TAC and USAR are probably need something
They should just combine them into one sectorial called the Cold Warriors.
called Cosmonaut.
Yeah, Cosmonaut.
That's pretty good.
Whole unknown ranger at a
Yeah.
Cosmoplot.
Yes. No, I think like TAC kind of needs some love. They have gotten like kind of nothing for a long time.
Yeah, especially with like the way the edition went,
Yeah,
because like a landmine just doesn't
doesn't really do it.
do
anymore.
what it did a long time ago.
Back in the before.
But anyway.
I also think an army like TAC suffers in the long run because people figure out it's like trick, their shtick, and you're like, oh, you're gonna just litter the table with camo tokens.
Yeah, the first time I had like a heavy infantry or like a tag just like run through my camo field, and they were like, whatever, it's gonna be a landmine, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh, right.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, it turns out apathy was my weakness.
And I think in N3, right, back to that, but like mines were much more dangerous.
Yes.
Right, because you're running around with light infantry, just critting things off the table. That's your
Right.
objective. So mine's like, well, fuck, I can't crit
Also,
that
you
off the
could
table.
Much more easily have like 40 camo markers on the table.
That too.
But
Yeah,
Anyway.
I could see TAC getting a little... TAC's gotten like shadow, like kind of mysterious buffs over the last couple of years, like the Ratnik Harris,
the
rework,
dynamo work.
the Dynamo. It's been kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'm excited for the new starter though. The new terrain looks really cool.
I like that it's different, although I do think I like the staircase buildings more.
that makes sense.
So funny you should say that. I love that they're moving the ladders a little bit more. I
Yeah?
hate staircases. I've been thinking a lot. Okay, so since as you're all painfully aware, I'm playing a lot of Cyberpunk in my between editions of Infinity. And
Yeah.
something I noticed was that just going straight up and down is so much of a change for the pacing, because like what I noticed was the verticality is so much more accessible in that game.
Well, that's
because
also
you just
more
go
of
up and
just
Do
down.
you
like-
think ladders make that easier?
Yes, because
See-
it's basically climbing plus. Because when you go downstairs, you
yeah.
are wrapping around the building.
It's true.
And you're moving at like a
So-
third or half speed to go down, and it takes you like 4 or 5 orders. You're spending most of your turn getting
See,
off
I
a
think
tall
you could do
building.
both though, and maybe that's what
So
I
a
would have
tall
preferred
building is different than like those buildings that are being offered by CB. Those are not tall buildings.
But if you you take the big building and the little building, and you stack them together, and now you take 3 orders to get off the building. And it's not that tall. It's
I
like
think
a 4-inch tall building, and
the-
you are spending an inordinate amount of time
Yeah.
getting off of it. And I don't think it's a very dynamic gameplay. You park a dude up on a
But
roof,
I don't know
and
if
he's
ladders
done.
is either.
I think ladders make it easier. You just go down.
But I don't think the ladders in this context would really do that. It'd still take you 2 orders to get down.
No.
If you're thinking, hold up, if you're talking about like this 2 stacked buildings,
Yeah, because you just go down and then you go down.
so move.
Yeah, it's like 1 order.
So if there's any arrows, you can't do it. You get stuck on the ladder.
Sure.
I don't know. I think it's a nice mix. I think having these and the other terrain will be good.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I like that they have different shapes, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Different shapes is the big deal.
You know, I like that it's different. Like,
Yes.
it doesn't. It gives existing players a nice reason to have more of this terrain.
And
it's-
CB's
it's
terrain is
great.
just good.
It's fantastic, especially because it looks like that tag grade kind of quality stuff,
And that was a dream to build.
it's phenomenal.
Yeah. And that might be the bigger thing is, like, that terrain is probably way easier to build than the fucking staircases.
And probably way easier to just manufacture.
The staircases get old.
Staircases, like even though you're supposed to be gluelessly buildable,
No.
I glue all my stairs
No.
because there's no way that thing holds
I'm going to
together.
glue those too. Like,
Sure. You don't have to.
Every time I don't glue a Corvus Belli terrain, I'm like, I should have just glued this.
Right.
Like, why didn't I? What am I doing? I'm never disassembling these.
I didn't
Like,
glue my tag grade, and nothing has come apart.
You know, I've not built my tag grade terrain yet.
Yeah.
My terrain has come apart, but that's because I'm just an animal and throw everything into one fucking box.
Right. Well, that'll happen.
Yeah.
So you guys want to talk new?
We can talk about the
rumored changes?
JSA reinforcement pack too.
Oh,
Worth
yeah.
mentioning. We have it on the
Smart.
screen here. Diokai with heavy machine gun.
Oh, I'm so happy.
That's a big
That's a
deal.
I'm
Huge
so
deal.
fucking happy. We now have a better heavy machine gun.
Than the new tag that just came out.
No, it's the only heavy machine gun besides the Kaisotsu HMG.
No, we have that new tag. Isn't that a regular?
That should be AP. Because people were whinging about how it's the same as an Oyori. Because it was an AP, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but just to this is out of my own character
They're both
here and
AP.
against my own values, but this does stomp on the toes of their brand new light tag.
That's what I was saying. Is,
Yeah.
Now the Mechazoid is an AP heavy machine gun.
Yeah, AP, and then also too, you can't fire team with it.
Sure. Well, we don't know.
We don't know. We have no
Dude,
idea.
if
We don't know.
That
That Mechazoid's cool. I don't care what anybody says.
I
That
think-
thing is fucking rad.
I understand the critiques. I think in terms of design, it could look a lot more different than the Oyori,
Sure.
but I like it.
I think in a game where people are like, oh my god, my bulleteer went up 2 points and that changed my list.
And it really did.
Right.
Like, not even exaggerated.
And
And
I'm
I
saying,
agree
like,
with the change, and it still had such a weird impact on my list building in ways that I did not expect.
My point being is, like, people are on Suicide Watch over, like, a unit going up 2 points, and then they're like,
Sorry,
oh, but
those
like
are
this...
Pano players, and they're not people.
I'm talking Aleph and combined when Netrons and Netrons went up.
4 less points in your army, and you're
Yeah.
just like...
Oh, God.
And everybody missed the point about how it's the bear pod's fault.
Right. Speaking of which, I want to say, while we're on
Boo
the air,
this man.
we have made it through the entirety of N4 without bears ever seeing a nerf. And
They
if
actually
anything,
only got buffed.
They got buffed with the Climbing Plus changes.
Climbing Plus
so
buffed them.
Bears got buffed
And
in N4.
O12
throughout the trajectory
Prestige
of it.
buffed them. I'm calling it that.
Kind of.
Yeah. No,
So the controller could have had Taco-Ware like the Antipode pack.
Okay, I am so sick of people being like, oh, I wish bear pods were like antipodes. No, they're different.
If you're gonna have a controller
It's
tax,
different. No,
make
it's
it
a-
interaction.
Excuse me, in the lore, bear pods are different than antipodes, but
Yeah.
they still have controllers.
It's different entirely if you read the lore that you're
'Cause-
talking
'cause
about.
antipodes-
That is actually true. I don't want to admit that, but that is true.
Yeah.
Because in the lore, Antipodes would just come to a standstill and just stand there and get
Antipodes go
gunned
brain
down.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of, I don't know, ferally attacking anyone with
Yeah,
crackers
instead of just turning into a pissed off killing machine, which
That would be funny, right? You kill the controller and now it's like Mega Beast Antipodes that
Dude,
just
if you
like...
just turned it into attacks the closest model, that'd
Yeah.
be hysterical.
They
Are you
gain-
kidding me? I'd run them more.
They gain guard and just always attack
Yes,
any model.
Always. Fine. You know what? Do that. I'll bring them still. Make them cost more points and make them do that. I'll still bring 2.
It is remarkable that the Bulleteer got nerfed and the Bearpode did not.
But my point being is so that yes, my point being, in a game where those changes are like earth-shattering to people, the fact that there's a tag that's like
13 points cheaper than your
yes,
other option.
yes, and it's not that much worse than the Oyori. Like, dude,
Actually-
that is actually a humongous deal.
It's one BS different. You don't get the little fucking koalas.
Sure,
With the
which is
Mindware.
like weirdly I think one of the bigger deals.
Yes. I agree. Having those
Back
having
in
that as a defensive
N3,
piece,
dude,
that's
those
a huge
koalas
deal.
were disgusting.
They're
'Cause
still disgusting.
No, dude, N3 crazy koalas were a rules fucking nightmare. Because you could have them follow
they
you
ran with
around.
you, yeah.
You would move around and you would deploy them and then they'd be part of your unit or whatever.
Sure.
It was
Does that mean I would get a
awful.
Harris bonus from it?
No. No. But it was like obnoxious what they could do.
Thanks, buddy. I've missed this. You should do this more often.
But no,
Hey.
like the people were bizarre about the Mechazoid, whatever. Like,
Dude,
it's a
it was
fine
wild.
light tag. It's a serviceable light tag, and when your army has like 2 heavy machine guns, and
Right.
one of them is BS-10,
Right, and now you've got a third machine gun and it's good.
and it's AP, like Pano players are the ones that should be bitching. Like, where's my AP heavy machine guns on my tags,
Give it to Ariadna.
right? And you have the option for the AP Spitfire too,
Yeah.
which
I think that's
Which is like
way
unique in
cooler.
faction,
Yes.
right? I don't
Right,
think JSA has a single AP Spitfire.
That's correct.
they do now. That's the only one.
Now they do.
Yeah, they don't have that many Spitfires either. They only
They don't have
three,
they actually don't have a lot
others.
of like long range gunfighters.
Yeah,
Right.
they have the Domaru, the Rushi. Rushi's a good Spitfire user.
Yeah, but I don't see a lot of JSA players taking the Rushi actually.
And you know what? I'll say this much too. Silhouette 6 versus Silhouette
it's a big
7.
deal.
Huge deal.
Huge deal.
Huge
I mean,
deal.
it changes your ability to go upstairs. It changes your ability to like hide behind shit.
S6 is so much smaller.
Yeah.
Volumetrically, like you take up so
Yeah.
much less room. Some tables, like your S7 tag, like can't
It's fine.
move
Yeah.
through areas.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I can't fit. Like,
Like a Doberman through a cat door.
so I don't know.
Sorry, overseas community. I know that you guys don't know what that's like, but some tables are actually.
Yeah, here in
Clutter.
America, we can afford terrain.
Honestly.
He says, looking at his crippling mortgage payments and electricity bills and food prices, and just don't worry about it. No.
Thanks, Bush.
Yeah, I get sick and I'm just like, God, I hope I don't
Guess
die.
I'll die.
can't afford to get this checked out.
But yeah, no,
But at least my infinity table looks dope.
people were stupid about the Mechazoid. It's perfectly
agreed.
serviceable. I don't get it.
The new reinforcements look sick, though.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree.
super sold on like the more cloth style sculpts. They look very cyberpunk. They fit the aesthetic. It's just
weird.
not for me.
So the one thing I'm gonna bitch about,
The
Well,
one thing.
in the next 30 seconds is they talk about how this new army is going to have a lot of like breathing apparatuses because of the planet they're on, and then they have a model who doesn't have that breathing apparatus.
Maybe there's a surgical enhancement.
Maybe, but like, I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, overall, I'm very curious to see what CB wants to do with JSA now, and I'm very excited.
I love the new heavy infantry.
Has CB made bad heavy infantry recently?
Depends on who you ask. Because if you ask me, I do not like any of the new Morat heavy infantry.
And you see, I'm in the opposite camp, and
I know that.
I
Like,
love them.
I'm not saying they're objectively bad, but
They're just not your aesthetic.
Oof, man. I am not a fan of the new monkey heavy infantry.
You're just not a huge fan of the monkey infantry, newest monkey aesthetic as a whole.
Yes, but
Those are specifically
now you've
bad
made me
for you?
complain about something else.
Oh my gosh, who would have thought?
It's your fault. No, the what is they? I
don't know.
despise whatever that melee weapon is on the Sogarat. Sogarat?
There's a new Sokarat?
No, not Sogarat. What the fuck are they
Surya.
called? Surya.
Yeah, but she's got this gigantic Viking cleaver, and it's like
It's their multi-pistol. I'm sorry.
It should be their multi-pistol.
Because, like, when you look at a
if you told me
Surya,
that was a Morat multi-pistol,
I'd be like, cool.
And that like it just functions as that because they chuck it at you.
It's a sword
Sure.
gun.
In different ways.
It's a
I'd be
sword
like,
gun,
it's a sword
whatever.
gun.
Yeah, I'd be like, sure.
Because they only have regular CC weapons.
Yeah.
Those are not even AP, not double action.
It's egregious.
Like, what the fuck are those? Why are they carrying them around? Like,
It's medicinal. It's
because
a medicinal
they're
weapon.
Fizz 13, so their multi pistols are better in close combat. They will never use that close combat weapon,
Right.
ever.
Well, unless you are trying to not kill your target
Then you pick AP
for some reason.
To quote Justin Bieber, never say never.
Okay, fair. If for some reason,
Yes.
yes, okay, you got me.
If you gotta knock someone out,
I'm
you
over
can't
here-
risk killing them.
I'm over here desperate for stun mode on multi weapons again.
Yeah.
Then you pick shock because everything's shock command.
Not everything.
Eh.
Patsy Garnett. Shock. Shock CC weapon. Saving my ass.
I'm teasing, but I really don't like those heavy infantry because of the axe
Sure.
thing. I literally can't even get past the axes on them. Like, I don't even see the rest of the model.
I mean, it's been like 2 years.
I
get
know.
it.
I know.
He really holds a grudge.
Yeah, I know you can't
I
get
sh-
past it.
I should get my eyes checked. It doesn't help that I really like the old models.
Yes.
Like the aesthetic and
Yes.
style. I really like the old models.
It was a big change.
Because that was more Oni, or did they lean more into that with the new
They have these
releases?
like big braided beards and
Before or after?
after.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, before they looked a little more like Covenant.
Yes.
More like brutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ish.
Ish.
Honestly, maybe not brutes. Kind of look more like an elite. Like a brute wearing elite armor.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. That
If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
No.
Like I have them up here. I can't really turn the screen for you, Bruce.
I'll take your word for it.
They're like kind of a mix of Predator and
Yeah, they got like predator dreads sticking out the side.
And, like,
Yeah,
I know this one has
yeah,
a sword
okay.
too, and I don't like that one. Turns
Sure.
out, like,
But the sword isn't like bigger than the model.
yeah, and he's like resting it on his shoulder. Like, it's just different.
Yeah. Like you could be like, oh, that's ceremonial.
It's
But
not.
you're not
the
taking your
focal-
ceremonial like buster sword.
It's not the focal point of the model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know. I have a lot of beef with the new monkeys, so that's a me thing.
I'm a big fan of the new monkeys.
I also-
love the new Dadaratsu.
Speaking of new
New
monkeys,
Dadaratsu are good.
props to the Samsa model for choking out a. What are they?
Skirgot.
Was that a Skurgot?
Yeah, it's not a taiga. Or
Okay.
is it a taiga?
No, it's
I don't-
not a
I thought
taiga.
it was a
think,
taiga.
I think it's a jawbrute. Yeah, I think Bruce
Which
is
is
right.
a Skirgot, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I know my monkey friends.
Is it?
It's definitely not a taiga.
Oh yeah, that's not a taiga.
Yeah, that's a Skurgot.
That's cool.
That's the fucker from Tag Raid, the little
That's
Morad
cool.
dog.
This Samsa model is great.
It just
Honestly, I think that goes so much harder than the LE one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, I have the old one and I loved it, but this
Old.
is so
It's not even that old.
cool. Well, now it is.
I like that they got this LE model out of LE.
Yes.
prison as quick
Yeah.
as they did. And they've been good about that lately.
And he's such a-
The only
Good
one,
model.
the only one that hasn't been super great with that is the Raven Eye,
Yeah.
which
it took him a long time.
is coming.
Yes.
And the Raven Eye should
But
be
it
what,
took him a long time.
I will
2
say,
years for the Raven Eye.
new Raveneye though, I'd say is about on par with old Raveneye.
Oh, completely agree.
Which is weird. Like
Completely
normally
agree.
it's like some wild
It's kind of
difference, but
fine, which is
I think it's fine.
Raven Eyes are weird because they're kind of just fine. Like you don't do anything with them; they just like exist on the table. And
no
like,
way. Raveneyes are.
Raven Eyes.
Have
are
you
very
not been
good.
abused by Raveneyes?
yes, I have, but like,
Yeah, but like, who hasn't been abused, dude?
They're a better Knight Commander.
okay,
Right there.
yeah, I know, I'm aware. Would you like to list some models that are worse Knight Commanders?
I can't.
Yeah, neither can I. wait, no, I can.
If you
Do you know what you know what is worse than the Knight Commander? The Knight
Not-
Commander with only one lieutenant.
Is it also Knight Commander?
Yeah, there we go.
The only thing worse than a Knight Commander at Knight Commander is Knight Commander.
A Knight Commander hollow mast as a Knight Commander, possibly the
You know
worst
what?
model in the game.
That would fuck me up. If you're like, and that's my Knight Commander, I'd be like, there's no fucking way. That ain't it.
Yeah, okay, but what else could it be?
I don't know.
Because
And I don't pay enough attention to military orders to tell.
it could be a Bashi
Yeah, it was
Bazooka.
just it could be a Bashi from like 2 seasons ago.
I mean, if you're playing with an extra, it still could be.
Yeah.
This is my Knight Commander.
There are many others like it, but this one.
You
is
walk up to
mine.
it like, it's just a boarding shotgun Bashi, whatever, who cares? Like, no, that's my lieutenant. Has to be.
Ruh-roh Raggy.
What are you, stupid?
Yes.
Oh, God, fucking military. I hope Military Orders is better in the new edition. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll get to that.
You know, if Torchlight's the new poster boys for 012, and hey, credit where it's due. I don't think we've said this on the air yet. You were right.
I was right.
012 new sectorial is the herald of a new edition.
Yep.
So
Stuff
here
that
we
is
are.
suspicious with its point costing. Yeah, weird. Where have I seen this before?
Last time.
Man, could it, like, I remember a couple years ago in N3 when there was this model that was identical to an orc, but had fucking Mim 6 and costed 1 point
Oh
extra.
my god, we get it. Pano sucks.
Yeah, that was for you to catch me and say, well, it actually has one less fizz.
Oh, like we give a shit about.
I
fizz
didn't
on
tattoo
the
those profiles on the inside of my eyelids.
I think about them every night. No, it was really... It was really jarring, actually. Some of those like original 12 releases,
Yeah.
you're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, why?
Yeah.
Where's
Well,
mine?
Yeah.
Because
And same with Torchlight. No, I don't think Torchlight's OP as an army.
Torchlight did the same thing, but they stomped all over Invincibles this time.
Well,
They
also
really
too,
did.
I don't know if we've really seen Torchlight be played. I think the only person I know who's played Torchlight is
I played it.
no,
And
like
GT.
no, you didn't.
Yeah, I
No, you,
did.
you played Invincibles.
What are you talking about?
And what happened to you.
I won a game.
Out of
Don't talk about it.
okay.
I dropped day 2.
And if he dropped it, it probably didn't change anything.
No,
Sorry. I
no,
love you.
Torchlight I think is fine. It has a couple profiles that are like
Good.
Dude, Hellblazers and Moonrakers.
Moonrakers. The biggest one for me
and
is
Silver Star Prime.
is their combat jumper.
the Yellow Jacket?
Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Because it's
tasty.
really hard to look at that and be like, where'd those points go?
Dude, it outfucks Crushers, and Crushers fucked.
Crushers, fuck.
Yeah. So.
Like, these guys are so good. And then you look at a Crusader Brethren.
They're trying their best.
All right,
Are
new
they?
rule. We can't compare anything to Pano because that's
No,
just
no, no,
sad.
no, no, no. We can't compare
No.
them to military orders.
Crusaders
There's a
are
difference.
funny because I think Crusaders... So I think combat jumpers have, like, a long history of struggling.
Yes.
And Crusaders, Accals, and there's, like, one or two of the other older ones where you're just like, dude, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like,
They're
you clearly
best.
just haven't... You're paying too much for what you do.
Yes.
By a lot.
Mhm.
And they've been buffing with new models, combat jumpers, and parachutists. Just
And
across
I think
the
that's
board.
cool.
Yeah.
And that's... Yeah, I want Crusaders, I want Accals, I want some of the others. I want JSA to get a combat jumper. They need one.
Oh, I think they will.
And I think that would be so fucking cool for... I don't know what you're going to do.
Please give me a ninja jumper.
I don't know. Would it be a ninja or would you do some, like...
ODD heavy infantry? Yes.
Yeah.
What's an ODD? That's now 2 editions out of date.
Hey.
Not yet. N5 is
Almost.
not yet. Fuck
Almost.
You. Fuck you.
There's a lot of cool design space for the JSA army.
Oh, definitely.
Like full army. Combat jumpers are a big one. Slash parachutists. They don't have to be combat jumpers. That's fine. So what else have we heard about the new edition?
Vehicles,
Okay,
right?
So vehicles are a thing. Hopefully it remains. So I've heard some people say they think all bikes are going to turn into vehicles.
Sure. That sounds like such a... It depends on what that means.
Right. Well,
I feel like bikes aren't going to fundamentally change.
probably not. And that's kind of where I'm getting at, right? Like,
You don't think it's going to be like this major change for vehicles?
well, you might. So what you could see, and this harkens back. I never played, so I'm not saying back in it.
Oh, wait. It says new unit category. Oh, but there's a bike on it. Okay, never mind. Anyway.
So, like, it could be like an N2 where all sorts of shit was hackable. Like your combi rifles and multi-rifles were
Oh,
hackable.
yeah.
Oh, God,
So, like, it
please
could be...
no.
I don't want that. But it could be that your vehicles are all hackable,
I'd be down with that.
right? So your bike is hackable.
That'd be
Some
cool.
dude could fucking turn off the ignition to your bike to call up OneStar or whatever. OnStar?
Yeah.
Whatever the Chevy
There we
thing is.
go.
Turn off your ignition and lock you in your car or whatever, right? Like...
So the two pictures we have are of a quad drone and a hover bike thing.
Yeah.
So I think those are super cool because one of the things I heard from the breakdown of
Yeah.
the
You're not going to get bigger than a little vehicle.
yeah, no, for anybody that's like, oh,
Bradleys!
APCs, no,
BMPs,
no,
nope.
that they have explicitly, like, since the beginning of the setting, have been like, that's outdated.
Right. It's like these tags, just fuck them to death.
Right,
We're not doing
like
that.
they don't have a place outside of like logistical support at this point.
Right.
Good.
And we've only, in the comics, we've only seen like a quad, like an
We've
ATV.
seen, like like a buggy.
But the Morats had an ATV with like a warthog,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
So I think that would be about as big as you're gonna get.
sure. And you know what? I think there's a place where that could be cool.
Yeah.
You know, if one model drives and the other one is like along for the ride, I think that'd be cool enough.
Yeah.
Because I think order efficiency for moving around the board is a big deal.
Right. And it's like a cool duo, and they have a lot of these mobility duos that exist
Right.
already that
Right.
are similar, right? It's like a remote and
Right. You probably wouldn't get cover, so that's like a whole trade-off.
yeah.
But what I did hear was that there's going to be like a weird hybrid silhouette deal for flying stuff.
Right, your drones, they're going to be really visible.
I'm excited about that, though.
I'm interested, and it depends on how it's executed.
I think if they zip around, so A, they don't get cover, which is already such a big deal.
But if they're like
on
MIM
its own.
6, little like...
Even MIM 3.
Yeah. Well, MIM 6 without cover is MIM 3 with cover, right? Like...
Yes and no.
Yeah, I know.
Once you are
I'm generalizing.
freed of the shackles of caring about cover, it becomes a big deal again.
But
Yeah.
that's how some of the older bike design was, right? Like... Oh, some of them have mimetism, and that's like... They were dodgier or
But they
better trained.
sucked
not
ass
MIM
like
6.
that. So and people
Montesa was
and then,
fine.
and then they went back and they buffed bikes a lot.
That's why I think bikes are going to turn into vehicles.
Mhm.
Because they spent an entire edition fucking around with bikes.
Yeah,
And
They really did.
I don't know if they were ever happy with how bikes landed.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they should be. I don't. No, to be honest.
No, definitely.
No, bikes are weird.
This whole like at the start of the game decide this thing like it's weird and awkward and like
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not as intuitive as you
it's
want
not
it to be.
svelte. It's not.
Which
Right.
is something Infinity gamers are known for. In
You know what?
some
If they just said
circles.
vehicles don't get cover, and then they made it so that bikes are impetuous, like,
Yeah.
or they don't have to be, or something. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
It depends. So it depends on what other changes are coming. Right. That's a big deal
Yes.
because we don't know anything.
But I think little flying units though are really cool, especially for breaking that like null deploy
Yeah.
dynamic.
It depends on how it works though.
Yeah.
It's.
Of course.
But that's with anything in this game. Is it depends on how it works.
I would also
I don't want to trade guided missiles for drones in terms of less
Yeah.
interactive.
Yes.
Get
So-
your dude's Goomba stomped on.
I'm stoked that they are addressing guided missile,
Yes.
but not like swinging the Nerf bat hard. I'm
Oh,
kind
I
of
would-
glad that they
I would swing the
they
Nerf
planted
bat
their feet.
hard.
Well, we don't know what it is yet.
I would bring it back to the N3 days where it
I
was
think-
a fun thing that you could do, but you never did it seriously.
I think it's
And then you buff it through the edition. That's what I would do.
just slightly at a point where it's uninteractive, and that's the part. I don't
That's my
like about
problem.
it.
It's
And
so
that's it.
boring. It's so boring. If you win with it, it's boring. If you lose against it, it's boring.
Boring and it's frustrating.
Yeah. There's a lot. So I don't know if they've said how they're gonna fix it. There's like some
They
vague
threw some ideas
comments
out there. It was like, maybe we'll make it -3. Maybe we'll make it consume the order, the token.
I think consuming the token's a big deal
I think that'd be huge.
because then there's not this inevitability.
Of just
That was
death.
the part that killed me. Was that, like, not only am I getting hit by, like, one of the single strongest things you can get hit with, a fucking explosive AP ignoring cover
That is
blast
somehow stronger.
that's hitting you on 17.
Like it's somehow stronger than a regular missile because it keeps its AP.
Right.
Like that's another change I would make. I would make it have to pick the blast setting. Personally.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah, totally.
I
That
think
makes
that rule
perfect
where they
sense.
said it's always blast. I think if they just tweak the wording to you always have to pick a blast if it's there.
Yeah.
Also, then makes the what is it? The
You can make the
Nox guided sniper.
you
and
can make the sniper the few weird glitchy thing. Although you can get rid of some of that crap.
I think a guided sniper rifle is hella cool.
I'm here for
It having impact blast makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever.
Airburst.
Yeah, but then it should have its own profile. That's
Sure,
right. Like
sure, but having a smart round makes sense to me. It turning into a missile makes no
a
sense.
double action missile or whatever it is. Like
Right.
it's weird. It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But the Nox sniper is not a big problem because no one's taking the Nox sniper.
I've been meaning
Really.
to, but I've never bought that box because it's just not important for combined.
And you own Defiance, right?
Yeah,
When
but
you
I
own
s-
Defiance, it is
I
hard to
still-
bring
I
yourself.
still want those Nox. I want those Sculpts. They're fun.
It's 3 Nox and a fucking Spec Op you're never going to use. That's another interesting thing. Spec Ops totally ignored for an entire edition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Something that hasn't really come up.
No
Who knows
love.
where that's gonna end up.
No nothing in the campaign books really, right? Like
No, straight up nothing.
No, nothing.
I think we still have the busted ass
Weeb.
Yes.
Weeb
Yep.
one that's
Yep,
like
that never changed.
totally busted.
Although bioimmunity is now worse than it was.
Still busted.
Still busted.
Like
but-
even with that nerf, and it's huge for that Weeb, it is still unbelievable.
Oh yeah, yeah. Spending a command token to request special equipment.
A la Helldivers.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if it'll be random or
So I heard it's gonna be semi-random.
okay.
It's not fixed.
It might be its own chart.
I'd be fine with that.
I'd be fine with that. It
Have-
shouldn't be the booty chart. That's
Agreed.
there's. I would never spend it.
Right. I would.
Oh, I would
never...
spend it so much.
No, but dude, booty is like. Booty isn't like metachemistry because metachemistry is always useful.
Yes.
And
Booty is
it's
like-
like good and sometimes better. Booty is like, dude, god damn it, like half the time I just.
Yes, but I love gambling.
You're like, cool, another
Okay.
heavy machine gun. Like, what am I gonna do with
what do you
two?
mean another heavy machine gun. I'm talking. I have an
Jeez.
Ermendino and
Grenades.
I get a fucking DACC weapon. Dude,
Yeah.
I've got D charges. Like,
I hope that changes. We'll get to wish listing in a second.
oh yeah, D charges.
So what else do we know about N5? So we know
Crit
this reinforcement
changed.
things. Crit change, but not kind of, but not right. Like
No, but they absolutely did. So crits have changed to now be so if you're over 20, it's the difference -20 on the low end.
right,
Instead of just
but that's
adding.
not really
Okay.
a functional. Like it is a.
Change.
It doesn't change the math.
It does.
Does.
Because here's okay, unless I'm missing something. In
Oh,
the example I'm looking at,
yeah.
CC26, you crit on 14 through 20.
unless you
And
also
now-
crit on 20, right?
But that's what I'm saying is you don't crit on 20 because it says it begins at 1 and above.
interesting.
I'm looking at the picture right now. So
They
you
could have
only
fucked that up too, on the
That's true.
graphic.
That's true.
Because I have because that would mean CC21 has no.
Right.
Advantage.
CC20. Well, no. It has an advantage in that nothing short of a crit will beat 20. So 20 will always beat a non-crit. You cannot beat it. But then a 1 will
But that
crit.
was already
But no one wants
true.
to be defeated.
So in CC21 today, you'd crit on a 19 or a 20, so it's strictly worse.
Yeah.
At CC21.
Right. So that's yeah.
Without mods, right? Without being negative from Paris CC or whatever other crap,
Yeah.
right? Like CC21 and CC20 are functionally identical.
Yes.
The rolls, like what your target numbers are a little bit different, and what your
Yes.
crit result is different.
Yes.
Weirdly, because their 20 beats your 20 and your 1 beats their 20. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
I think this
Which
is an
is
error.
weird.
I think this is an error. I think they fucked up,
Right.
honestly.
Who knows, right? We're going off a slideshow.
Right.
But
A slideshow that hasn't been made necessarily super public either. Like they haven't done like a
CB
review.
hasn't released it.
Yeah, which is a pretty interesting thing. Like normally with that stuff, they do release like a YouTube
yeah,
video of
and
it.
their like stuff is prone to change.
100%. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
so-
not bashing on them, but I think this is just an error.
Right.
That's all.
And even if it's not, I feel better about this change. And it might, the math, sure, could be a whole thing. I feel better about
I
it.
hated the, like, oh, you rolled a 1, but it's actually
Dude,
a 4.
I despised it.
Because you
you're
get excited. You're like, oh, I rolled the 4, and they have the 1. Like, oh, but actually.
yeah, and you're like,
Right.
yeah, I rolled a 2, but actually it's like a 7.
And, like, I know that same thing's going to happen here with the crits, but it's much easier going in
yes.
to know that they're critting on
Yes.
this band of numbers.
And you're doing like less weird math. It's less awkward explanations.
when you're in that mid range,
Mhm.
right, and you roll a 10 and they roll a 7 or an 8 or 9, right? You're like, oh, I win, but they actually have +6. You're like, oh,
Right.
oh. Game was
So-
rigged from the start.
Then there's the martial arts changes, which we don't know about.
Huge though. I'm a
The
huge
one thing
fan
they
of
mentioned
this.
was that they are going to start doing weird new things,
Like maybe advantage.
like advantage. Fucking rad.
I'm here for it. And they're making Natural Born Warrior not turn off martial arts.
Yes.
I think the martial arts changes are some of the things that we are most looking forward to.
I think that the CC. So first of all, what a good time that they are picking JSA
Yeah.
to then all of a sudden refine Melee to be real interesting now, because I think Melee was like one of those.
I'm still a little concerned that it might not be interesting.
It has.
I
room
think it's
to,
going to
but
be more interesting
It'll be
than
more
it was.
interesting than it ever was.
Yeah.
So.
But the
And you know
advantage is interesting. That changes your dice odds quite a bit, and it makes things less spooky, but it's not nearly as devastating as Burst 2.
And then it can. I was gonna say, and also it can make things like Burst 2 not as big of a deal.
Right.
If you have 2 pistols and you
Right.
want to use your 2 pistols in melee, all of
Sure.
a sudden it's not. Holy shit! This is so mathematically better than
Right.
like the best ninja on earth because you're a drunk idiot with 2 handguns.
Right. I think Natural Born Warrior needed a change.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it cost. It wasn't enough.
Oh, it like didn't cost shit.
Yeah. And the fact that it like turned off the best like specialized close combat people in the
Yep.
fucking universe. Right? Like Mushashi and them are just like, oh, this guy's fucking drunk. I can't deal
Yeah,
with it.
it like fucked on their damage. It fucked on their hit chances. It
Yeah.
like it messed with their burst.
Yeah,
like
like-
extreme examples. Yeah, so thank
Uh,
God that's changing. That's cool.
And I think it's better to have the CC stat just baked into the profile. If you want them to be
Absolutely.
CC 26, just fucking make them CC 26.
Yes. And that goes back to the martial arts too.
The minuses are different. Those are fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're getting a minus mod against you because I'm so skilled or so stinky if you're
right,
a Toha or
I'm
whatever.
such a ninja that you can't shoot me as well.
Right, or stab me as well.
Yeah, good.
Right? That's fine, but the pluses were always a little weird because in my head you just functionally know that like, unless you're fighting another martial artist, this guy's actually CC 25, not
Yep.
22. Why do the math?
Oh, it's miserable to try to remember that.
Yeah. And I think it's better, like more interesting changes than just like fizz damage. I would prefer personally,
Agreed.
right?
I
Like,
think
just
martial
make the
arts-
sword the damage that you want it to be.
I think if you're martial arts level 5,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you have this whole toolbox of
Things that you do.
Oh, add +4 damage. That's cool. Get 2 dice. Pick the best one. That's cool.
So I
You
didn't
change it depending on your situation.
Love in N3 how you had to pick your level.
Right.
But at least there was a choice to make that sometimes was situational, right? Because some of the martial arts levels were extra damage.
Yes.
And someone's like, oh, I gotta, beat the shit out of this Yodams with just a shock CC weapon.
I think their issue was that the levels were too similar.
Well, and they were too obvious. In the
That
N3,
too.
it was too obvious which one to pick. In N4, it just didn't matter.
Right. It was
Honestly,
like
yeah.
at martial arts 2 until
You had everything
5,
you wanted.
It was just
Whatever.
martial arts -1 plus damage.
Right.
Because like martial arts 2 is +1 damage.
2 versus
plus
3
minus
is who
3.
gives a shit.
Right.
Especially when tons of models just had like CC attack plus X damage.
Yep.
Right? You're like, oh, is this really part of my martial arts, or is this something
Actually,
you're
better yet,
stapling
CC attack plus damage was
Better.
categorically better
in? Strictly better.
than martial arts because it can't get turned off by natural born warrior, and it works when you throw D-charges at people.
Or pistols.
Or pistols.
which
or,
can be weirdly relevant if you
Yep.
have like a multi-pistol and that's your double action weapon,
Yep.
right? And now it's damage 14.
Hope to God they change D-charges.
Me too.
I think they should not just be the auto-pick melee weapon. I liked when they were shitty. And
It-
I have a lot to lose from this change.
Yes.
You do.
But I want that. I want D-charges to
It's-
be a weird melee weapon. I want... And then he did D-charges, and I want
Dude,
that to be a dumb, wild
one of my
decision.
big stories from N3 was I had this hopeless game, and I lost this game, but like I had this hopeless situation, and I marched a fucking pano machinist up into an avatar
Yeah,
who
you-
was very much alive,
Yeah, you
Right.
told me
Not
the story. You
immobilized.
told me the story.
tanked a Sepsitor, and CC'd him with a D-charge and detonated
That's
him.
awesome.
And killed him. Just,
Right.
Just bonk,
That's
boom.
fucking hysterical.
Gonzo. Fucking put your brain into your buddy.
Yep.
Right? Like... And that was a dope story because the odds of it were so, like, bad, right? You're like a CC 12 or 13 engineer or whatever. You're like, fucking, just send it, buddy. You'll be fine.
It's at the point where...
You won't be fine.
He was not fine.
It's at the point where, like, when I look at a model that does anything involving melee, if I see D-charges...
That's your weapon.
I stop looking at their melee weapons.
And it
Yeah.
might be different if D-charges had less ammo.
Sure. But
'Cause,
you know what?
like-
I like that they have 3 charges for objectives.
I do too. But, like, for CC, they have enough ammo that it's trivial.
Right, because
Yeah.
you're never going to get into, like, 4 CC fights with something
And
with
if your
D-charges.
8-point Ermendino runs out of D-charges, you've just had a very good day.
Yep.
So...
The utility is insane.
It really is. I hope it changes. It also, like, I always struggled with it with Calibans.
Yeah.
Like, what are they eating? Like,
The little bits that are left.
the crispy bits?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we've moved on to our wish list for N5. We've covered all the things we know. Is there anything else
we
we
don't
know?
really know that much.
We know it's not changing much.
There's going to be changes to vanilla.
Yeah, more fire teams in vanilla, but probably less AVA and possibly less unit selection.
I'd be here for it.
I think if you're going to give vanilla fire teams in a meaningful way, you got to cut back on their options. And it has always, and you know, some Pano shit, I know. But it has always frustrated me that Pano specifically feels like they get the brunt of here's your special sectorial model that is only in military orders. Right? Fuck you, vanilla.
Yeah.
For like no reason. And then like a year later, Bakunin comes out and has like the copy paste version of that model.
Except better.
Bakuninized. It's like, yeah, it can be a vanilla.
It
Right?
made-
Yeah, take it.
It made even less sense to me when Cosmoflot
Yeah.
has dozers and has Armandinos and then got mechanics.
Right.
And it's like, all right. Like,
Yeah, what-
dude,
what do
I've
we-
got 3 engineers now.
What are we doing here? And I think maybe vanilla shouldn't get those special engineers.
Speaking of which,
Right? They should get dozers. Like, sorry, you don't get Ermendinos. Fuck off. You don't get them. Right?
Right.
As a design space thing.
speaking of which, though, vanilla changes.
We were
is
just
cool.
talking about
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
right.
so I heard that the fire teams are cool.
Maybe.
But
We'll see.
I'm dubious.
I think if they're...
Does vanilla Nomads and vanilla Aleph and vanilla
Combined.
Combined Army, do they need more?
If their top tier shit is restricted, fine.
Yes. And that's where we were getting at. That's where I was frustrated that some of the design space recently
Oh,
has been
okay,
like,
yeah, here I am.
here's your new Pano toy. You can only take it in military orders.
Right.
Like, fuck you.
I
Go shoot
loved
yourself.
when they started
Which
coming
is-
out with the new stuff that was
which is-
restricted.
Fine, but then you don't do it for all the other armies.
Right.
Right?
That
Bakunin, here's your fucking Strategos lieutenant guy, gal, whatever. Yeah, you can have it in the
Creature.
middle. Ah, why
Yeah,
not? Fuck
yeah,
you.
Sure.
Yeah, you can have it there. They didn't do enough of that restrictions to make it feel right.
Yeah.
And
Near the end of the edition, they started doing it, and then Bakunin happened. But yeah,
did they though? Like, what else was really specific? Outside of maybe a couple profiles that were
Okay.
unique.
012 fucked with it a little bit.
Not really.
Not really.
Somewhat.
Like what?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It was some stuff in Starmada, I thought. The bikes were supposed to be Starmada.
Yeah, they
only.
fucked up.
They fucked it up though. But that was supposed to be Starmada.
Maybe
only.
that'll change.
Maybe.
It won't. Yeah, they fucked up the packaging of all things.
Yeah. I
Well,
think
didn't-
Torchlight did the same thing.
Yeah.
Torchlight, you can't bring some of their stuff in vanilla. I don't think you can bring Samus.
But those aren't like.
We don't even have the models for those yet. But yeah, no, that's a fair.
Well, she would have been a huge deal in vanilla. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Is she a heavy infantry? She
Yeah.
is, right?
Now she's like Jamie Arantes or something.
Right.
Jaime.
And they changed her
Jaime.
icon.
Yeah.
Cowards.
Seriously.
Hey, dude, Nintendo doesn't fuck around.
No, they don't. It's the
Yeah.
right call. You will lose that legal battle. soon.
Allegedly. They didn't change it for any reasons.
The vitality change, fine, whatever.
It's fine, who cares?
Moving on. Yeah, that's okay.
The new damage model, so it's the same as
The
before.
people that care about that, it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Wait, which
the
one?
vitality.
Yeah, vitality versus.
Oh, vitality. What the fuck ever.
The only thing that'll be interesting to see if how they handle identifying what things can be repaired with engineers versus doctors.
Well, because structure still exists.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay.
So structure exists. It's just specifically that a wound token is -1, whatever the fuck it is.
Okay.
So you have vitality or structure, but you can put a wound token
On
on
either.
structure, and it's not a confusing shit show.
Right.
Now, that's why they did that.
It depends. So I would like to see doctors able to heal non-null state models
Yeah.
to reunify structure versus wounds in terms of the other mechanics around them.
Sure.
Like, yes, engineers can only heal structure and
Yeah.
doctors can only heal wounds or vitality. But I would bring them back in line. Because would it matter?
It's especially weird, like when you have no wound and cap.
Right, and that's
You
a
can
null
doctor
state.
That, but then
It's a null state, except it's not, but it is, but it's not. It's really not.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't.
Right.
Explaining that it's a null state that ignores every rule of being a null state, including points.
Right.
Like-
Except for the one where you can doctor it. There's
Right.
a better way you could phrase that.
Right.
Yeah.
And dogged, I think, is a null state that you can't be doctored in.
Correct.
Right? So, like...
Was it at dogged you die, like hands down.
Right, but you're not in a null state that can be healed. You still are in dogged. I
Right.
don't think you can ever remove the dogged
Correct.
state. So you're in a
Well,
null
you do
state.
when you die.
Right.
Which is
What I'm saying is when you're in the dogged state,
Yeah.
you are in a null state
Mhm.
that can't be healed.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Right, it's...
It makes perfect sense.
just unify the mechanics a
I think the
little
more interesting one is the possibility of probability,
whatever it is. The
POS. I like the mechanical change. I hate the terminology.
Yeah, it reminds me of War Machine, because War Machine did P plus S, power plus strength.
Yeah.
Um,
It just doesn't. It's not. It doesn't feel sexy to me. If that, as dumb as that, I hate saying it like that. It's just damage was such an easy concept. I say, oh, it's damage. Okay, and then
I-
you figure how that works. in
I like
armor.
that it's unifying the dice system into always the same thing.
Yes.
Right? Look for this target number, meet it, or be below it.
Yes.
And that was a hard thing for a lot of new players with armor saves. Like, wait, this one's different? Like, yeah, it's...
It made it really hard to rake your dice too.
Yeah, right?
If I'm being honest, like I tried to microwave them, but then you gotta like remember which dice like
Honestly,
roll
the
20s
answer is
and
just
which ones roll.
tens.
Yeah. Kind of.
10 or 11 is almost always a good dice roll.
Kind of.
Maybe it's the panda fire in me with my good
Now I gotta
good
get a
old
bunch of
shooting.
ones for my melee. Yeah, but now all you need is ones.
It does make, because the dice symbol's on ones, right? For all the CB dice. It
Yeah,
actually
so now that makes it
that
hype.
one a little better
Yeah.
for melee.
Yeah.
Nothing else really.
Right. I still think 12 dice should have had the symbol.
I
of 12,
hate it. It makes me
'cause it
so
fucks me
fucking
up. I see a
mad.
12 and I'm like, no, it's got like decorations. I guess that's a 1 now.
It would have been
Anyway.
funny.
Yes, it would have been really. Yes, it would have been fucking hysterical that the 12 is the important one. But I like the system. I love that they're unifying.
I think it's going to take us, like N4 veterans.
Oh, absolutely, I think it's going to fuck me up the hardest.
It's going to be really hard for us for a while.
I look at
until
a combi rifle being POS 7, and that
Like,
means
nothing.
less
to me.
than nothing to me.
What does that mean?
I try to think about it, and my brain
Magnets.
is just like.
It's going to be like us figuring out military time if you're a civilian, right? Like,
yeah.
because it's be 20 minus the damage of the weapon in N3 is the new
Yeah.
thing. All right.
So I'm gonna try to put it into perspective right now, right? So, combi rifles POS 7, right?
Yeah, so
that
20
means if you're a Fusilier.
You do 20 minus...
No,
Yes, 20
Or-
minus the Fusilier's combi rifle.
it's 13. Okay.
It's 13.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
If you need to translate it on the fly.
Okay, you know what? That was easier than my brain was ready to.
So if,
That's what it was. That's why I resisted
if
it.
you're looking at the probability of survival, you take the 7 of a combi rifle,
Mhm.
you add the armor of an
Right.
8, and then you add whatever cover, presumably plus 3,
Right. So you get to
11,
Yeah.
which is the same as it was before.
But now you want to roll
Right?
down instead of up.
Because it's 11 and below
Oh wait,
versus 10 and up.
yeah. I'm just saying that. I don't. I'm having trouble with it. I'm ashamed to say it. It makes sense logically,
But I hate it.
but my heart is gonna need a little while.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I want to be a proponent of new stuff. I think it's a great change.
It's the right change. It's just one of those, like, there's going to be some inertia.
Just holy fuck.
And it's going to be hard, like, if there's any new weapons or, like, some of the CC stats.
I'm gonna see a gun that's like POS 2. I'm gonna be like, that sucks.
I think
Like, go
CC
away.
is going to be the hardest. Because...
Oh my god! Because it's gonna be tags are gonna be POS -1.
Because it's hard.
Holy fuck!
Because it's hard to, like, mentally know.
That's what's gonna be. Tags are gonna be POS -1, and it's gonna feel bad.
Like the Yodems. Just...
Yeah. Anything. Literally anything.
So, it's a good change, but it's just going to take us all, I think, a minute to acclimate to...
You know what? Honestly, it's gonna take me like 2 games, but then
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
That's a nothing change. It's just a mental.
You know what?
gear
Natural
shift.
Born Warrior change is gonna fuck me up more than this. Realistically,
Yes.
like actually,
That actually applies to you.
Wait, what do you mean Achilles does that?
Yeah.
No. Denma, you're supposed to be OP.
Still will be.
Probably. If we're talking about wish list items, because I don't think we have anything else
No, I don't
on
think so.
I
the.
think that was it. Let's find
So
out.
my wish list, I have a lot of things, but not a lot of big things. And I'm excited that there is a CC change.
Yes, agreed.
But if we're talking wish list items, we talk about decharges. That's a big one. Make decharges suck in close combat again.
Absolutely.
For me, guard.
Yep.
I will say, ever since Andromeda got bonked, has not been an issue anymore. But
It's not
yes,
been as much of an issue.
but the rule still sucks.
I
As
still
it
hate
is.
the rule. I still find the rule unpleasant to deal with. And don't like how it works. Yeah. So here's my biggest one. I want Extreme Impetuous back.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
I
I feel like
don't
that's
think
a
it is.
stretch.
You know what? I think limited insertion should come back.
That too.
I think elite
To me,
lists
that's
have
not as big of a change as Extreme Impetuous. Because limited insertion could come back in an ITS, no problem.
Yeah, but I think one combat group lists should be more viable,
Agree.
especially as they introduce heavier and bigger units.
Agree. And limited insertion in N3. So all it did, right, is if you had one combat group, if they spent a command token to reduce your order pool, they only reduced it by 1.
Oh, was that all it was?
That's all
I
it
thought it was
fucking
you. I thought you were immune to it.
No.
No, I think it reduced it by 1.
It's
So
just
but the thing was-
counterintelligence.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the thing was, you didn't do it because it wasn't worth it.
Right.
Because a command token for that effect is pretty mid. Like,
Yeah, but you're not going to spend a command token for one order. I
if
mean,
you know
it's-
your opponent has counterintelligence, you're almost never spending the token.
right, unless you are like really worried about it. But yeah,
Yeah, in niche cases.
and now with O12's prestige, probably less.
If that's
I'd be fine. I'd be fine if that went. By the way, I think.
Oh,
that,
I think it should. I think it's caused more trouble than it's worth. I still don't know what happens when a tag's unconscious. Like,
If it doesn't
do you have a model with tack aware in your army if
Yeah.
the model's in a null state? Because all of its rules turn off, but it still has the rule.
I
No, I don't know. Don't
I
ask me.
hope they keep the border skirmishes rule though. I thought that was cool. It always bothered me that the exclusion zone somehow applied to parachutists. I thought that like that's the whole point of having a model that comes in later, is that they could deploy unexpected places. It's weird to me that you can deploy in the enemy deployment zone easier than you can in the midfield.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that didn't sit right with me. I like that there was some workaround for that.
I think it's fine. I think my biggest beef with it is it's a little... There's a little bit of bookkeeping to it that I don't love, like the once per game type thing.
Once per game
it
is
never
easy.
comes up.
Once
but
per game
it's-
is not bookkeeping. It's you do it and then you don't do it anymore.
Yeah, in a
Whoa.
three turn game.
Whoa, that's how it works.
Yeah, in a 3-turn game where you only really have one parachutist, it is fine.
And if you have 2, then you know when you did it already.
Yeah, but it introduces an element of, like, people fucking up the rules or trying to get away with something. It won't happen, but it does. It's bookkeeping. In theory, it is bookkeeping.
Sure. I'm not worried about it.
I'm not either.
Is what I'm saying.
It's a fine rule. Like, it's fine.
I liked it a lot more than O12's Prestige. Because O12's Prestige
hate O12's
suddenly
Prestige.
became like, oh, but then I have one extra order, and I have to figure out
Yeah.
where to put my TACware models, and...
I don't like the implications of when it's unconscious. I don't like...
Yeah, that too.
Some armies, it's 3 free orders in the game, and other armies, you're like, I need my TACware.
Yeah.
Like...
Speaking of wishlisting, I would love a deployable turret. Let
pay
me
for
buy
it?
it. Let me buy a deployable turret.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
because,
badass.
God damn, would that be cool?
Imagine it
I
takes
would.
up an order slot, and it's in irregular order, like just maybe a TACware
Fine.
order. That'd be interesting,
Fine.
right? You
I
can
would
you
take
can
it.
activate it to shoot it
Because
once on
some
your turn.
factions just do not want to
wouldn't
be
mind it.
standing out there trying to do the fight thing, but a turret at the right price point at
Like
sub 10 points.
5 points.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I'd spend a little bit more than a war core to have
That's
a turret.
what I'm saying. It's not 7 points.
Yeah, it's not a flash bot, but it's like
I think
flash
5
bot
points
adjacent.
feels right.
Yeah.
I'd pay
Yeah.
5 points. I'd pay
And maybe you need an engineer. Maybe it has to be synced with an engineer. That's cute.
not even sync.
Like a pal bot. I
Make-
mean, like
making
Yeah,
it
yeah.
deployable that the engineer has to put down. Spend an order on it.
but
to set
then
it up.
it doesn't help you turn 1, which is what a lot of armies want that turret for.
Spend a command token to deploy it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Fine. Could be part of your freaking call reinforcements. And
Yep.
maybe that's a thing, right? Maybe it's
Calling down a turret would be so cool. Tag raid had a cool mechanic where engineers could build walls.
Right.
I'm not saying I suggest that because holy fucking shit, can you imagine a tournament where you
I don't
can
want
build
to deal
walls?
with that.
I'd rather die. But
Just
the idea,
Minecraft.
the idea,
Fortnite. It's Fortnite.
It's Fortnite.
the idea of like being able to, because they could set up turrets, they could set up walls.
Right.
The ability to set up a turret was super cool.
Yeah, setting up a turret's cool. More different turrets would be cool.
That'd be cool too.
Little Emerat turret or Panzerfaust turret,
Flamethrower turret.
flamethrower turret. Lots of cool
Dude, a
options.
fucking Discover turret.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Speaking of
A
which,
sensor turret.
I hope a sensor turret. I hope surprise attack works in reactive turn.
Me too. I don't think it'd be a problem.
Oh my god, that made me so happy with my Noctifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made me so
Yeah,
happy.
dude. I think especially for how swingy an Octifer is, give him a little bit of a bonus.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
And
that.
and if it's too much for some models, give them a points adjustment.
Yeah.
Or take away their surprise attack.
Yep.
If you don't want Noctifers and Swiss Guard missiles specifically surprise attacking things because you think that that's not fun, don't give them surprise attack.
Right, because you're not going to do that on the active turn.
You almost never do. Now you would hurt the rest of the like Swiss Miss or Hacktow or Swiss Guard and Hacktow profiles. Maybe you figure out a way.
But you bake that into the individual profile then. You
Right.
give it HMG surprise attack.
Yep. You know, for the things you don't want to have surprise attack. And maybe the Noctifer gets it, right? I don't know, right? That's a design space I haven't explored.
I just feel like camo should be more of a defensive tool than an offensive tool. It's really weird to me that a camo marker can just run straight through the open, and that's perfectly fine. But when you are
Yeah.
hiding in the back corner
It's
and
not a
someone looks
surprise.
at you, you are now stressed.
It's weird because intuitively it feels like you get surprised when you're trying to do something and the enemy interrupts you, right? That to me, that is when you get surprised.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially versus
Like if I was walking past you to go get a beer and you punched me in the dick, that would be a very surprising thing. Whereas if you like got up and went to punch me in the dick, it would be
Right.
significantly
well, first
less
of all,
surprising.
it'd be I run across your whole yard,
Right.
and then you look at me, and then you decide
Yeah.
there's not an issue, and then I punch you in the dick.
Yeah,
and
it's-
that's the only time it matters.
It's weird.
yeah.
And maybe if you discover first, you ignore the surprise attack in ARO,
Fine.
right? Because if you do a
That'd
discover
be fine
shoot,
too, because you're like, huh, what?
I think there's something over there. So you ignore the penalty for the
Sure.
surprise. That could be a cute.
Well, I mean, if you're discovering, then like you're just eating it for free. So it's
no, because you discover shoot.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
On active turn, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think there's something over there. I'm going to shoot it if I can identify it and get a targeting
Yeah,
solution.
because they're already looking
if they
at
come
you.
out of camo and shoot you, you're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, I was right.
Yeah,
Crap.
yeah. No, that's awesome. I think that'd be such a clever way to do it. And you know what?
Discover shoot's hard to set up.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, especially if they know that it'll get rid of their mod. Like, the odds of you actually, outside of the deployment phase, getting that set up is like
It's hard.
not really a thing.
Right.
You will have gotten your opportunity to lob your surprise attack ninja sniper. Right?
Yeah.
Use your words.
Yeah, Bruce, you can have that beer.
Thank you.
We didn't do anything to it.
I don't know if I did or not. I don't remember.
Oh, it's Blue Moon.
Now you can tell.
I knew that one.
Oh yeah, you're right. You are the high scorer on the beer channel.
But Stone is the low scorer.
Stone is, and you know what? I keep drinking the Stone on purpose.
Yeah, right.
I stand by it, even though I
I
blind
like
tested
it, but I
low.
apparently I do not.
I need to see the can. Apparently, that's fine. I'll be a sheep.
What else? So I think Extreme Impetuous. I didn't get back to
I want
this.
repeaters to get changed.
Me too.
I think rip the condom off. Let's hack through repeaters.
Yep, let's
Let
do
me
it.
repeat through a repeater. We both get firewall. Fucking whatever. Make hacking a shit show.
Yeah.
I want every hacker in a brain orgy.
And I think
Some new hacking profiles would also be.
I think
good
we
as
went
well.
too
Yes.
far in N4 stripping away N3 hacking programs. There are so few, and it's like such a trivial choice.
And with the mods that now exist, when you can give AP or plus damage or +1 burst, I don't think you need a million programs. I think those mods,
Yeah.
for the basic things you're gonna do.
I would add U-turn.
Yeah.
Just I would.
Can you imagine Trinity continuous damage?
Oh God.
Right.
Just giving them a seizure.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Fucking light their brain
Hold the
on fire?
door! Hold the door!
Wouldn't that be rad though?
Yeah. No, and I think there's maybe room for like one extra hacking program. I would also make
Push button.
I would consider bringing back like Lockpicker or the door opening one, even if you don't really need to use it in ITS missions, but just for some custom missions to have as a thing, or your campaign missions.
Yeah, you could add that though.
Yeah, but then that's
You're right. You're making some shit up, but if you're making shit up for the doors to exist, you might as well make up a hack.
it could be useful for Armory though,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I would consider maybe one or two more hacking programs.
Yes.
I think there should be a better Trinity.
I would love a program that ejected the pilot from attack.
I missed that.
Yes.
It was bad, and
Fine.
it was hard to pull because it was like low damage.
Yeah, that's
It was
fine, though.
usually better to do total control or isolate it or
Right, but that
immobilize
shit's
it.
hysterical.
But it was so funny.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
To eject a tag pilot and then gun it down.
Right.
was
That's
very
that's
funny.
A really funny play to me.
The pendulum swung too far. That's where I'm at.
Agreed.
Like, it was
Because now
way
there's, like-
too much before. It was ridiculous. Do not bring back N3 hacking.
And
Not
give
what I'm
Evo
saying.
hackers something to do in the hacking.
That was where I was gonna get the fucking what's the no damage protect yourself one that no one gives you?
Zero pain.
Zero pain. Yeah.
Zero pain fucking sucks. It's a burst 2 reset.
Yep. It is a waste of
I forget
effort.
who I was talking to about that recently, but I was like, yeah, dude, it is just a burst 2 reset.
It is a -3 mod to your opponent too. Yeah. So it is better
But not by
Like
much.
if it face to face that hacking attack for other models,
Which would be so
right?
cool.
Like
And
you're
how do you-
protecting your heavy infantry that's also resetting against it, but you have your Evo hacker that's like, nah, bitch,
Yeah, I got you.
I got you.
Right, because then that makes it, because the Evo hacker is supposed to be this like
Support
support
bot.
bot that's
Yeah.
like there to just exist on your network,
Yeah.
helping you.
I'm here to coordinate your missiles. I'm here to coordinate your combat jumpers. I'm here to help protect you with firewalls.
Yeah, and the fact that a killer hacker shows up and they're just like,
Yeah.
no, dude, come on, like,
They should have something for killer hackers.
Completely agree.
And like maybe you make a worse Trinity, right, for them to have as just a self-defense.
Binity.
And maybe you give it to regular hackers too.
Yeah.
Something that can damage enemy hackers but doesn't have high burst. Something that it could be a burst one that does damage to enemy hackers.
Right.
That you're
Just
not
hackers.
excited about it.
But
But in
something.
ARO, you're like, no, fuck you.
Yeah,
Like, I'm gonna blow up your brain. I'm not just gonna isolate you. Fuck you.
especially because Mora hackers. Yeah.
Veteran hackers exist, and
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice just to kill shit.
Yeah.
I want Extreme Impetuous back.
Right.
You haven't mentioned that yet.
Well, I didn't get to talk about it. So, one of the things that I think N3 did better than N4 was there was more interaction. And I think part of that was Extreme Impetuous existed.
Yeah.
So your 5-point Quang Shis did not just guard deployment zones.
I will
They
say...
ran out like lunatics, and you interacted with them.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say the order cap is different, which is
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But I think Extreme Impetuous on your like dog warrior type things and your
Bears.
Quang Shis, your bears, some of the bikers probably. Most of the bikers were Extreme Impetuous. The Maverick was weird in that it wasn't.
Was the Montesa as well?
In N3, man, that's a good question. He might have been regular Impetuous, not Extreme Impetuous.
Ooh.
When did Montezas get bikes? Because at some point they
It's an
didn't even
N3.
have them,
Yeah,
right?
it was an N3 that they
Okay.
when Shock Army got squatted, they retooled Montesas into a biker
But they never released the bike model until military orders.
until like N4. Yeah, it took a long ass time. So people were like making their own and making it look like it was riding like a horse bike thing.
Oh, that's cool.
It was kind of cool. They had stealth too in N3 because they had martial arts.
Right.
Martial arts gave stealth, obviously.
As it should.
Stealth. I would change stealth.
I would
Okay.
change Sixth Sense.
I would change stealth. I might get rid of stealth. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at on this. I would prefer a new rule that makes you stealth versus hacking networks.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to now where you tiptoe through zones and don't make noise, and somehow that makes it so the repeater can't see you on the network.
Yeah, I agree that like not being hackable because of stealth is fucking weird.
Yeah. Like...
So
And that's
Yeah,
one
but
of the,
why does it matter how quiet you are? Like,
and that's one of the main benefits of stealth. Like, that might be the biggest benefit of stealth.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
weird.
The other one being that when you're a 5-man fire team, you cannot dodge against stealth, despite everyone thinking you can.
Yeah.
But that's a different story entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would consider changing Sixth. See, that's what I think that would help fix Sixth Sense, because I think you could divorce Sixth Sense from its stealth
Dude, that interaction
Interactions?
just makes me so sad.
and just keep Sixth Sense as like this defensive tool against surprise attack and gives you 360 no scope abilities and gets rid of that stealth interaction that's weird to me.
You know what, dude? If you gave it, you could fire back at -6.
See, I think
From
I'm
out
just
of
gonna
line of sight.
stand on my hill on this, and I don't think nerfing defense is what we need in the next edition.
Yeah, because active
Yeah.
turn and
Like
all
I'm
that
gonna
is so
die
powerful.
on this hill.
It's not the defense that I'm worried about. It's when you have Sixth Sense and you can fire at something at ridiculous mods.
Then make it only work in arrow.
The fact
Done.
that they fine.
Done. Fine. I don't give a shit about the active part of it
Yep.
He got you there, bitch.
because I think its main benefit should be for defensive 5-man fire teams. Like they're
Absolutely.
heads up. There's a guy over here. Fucking shoot a missile at him.
Absolutely.
Right. Like that's what I see it as being, to stop your smoke tricking, trivially
Mhm.
removing arrow pieces.
Completely agree.
Yeah, get rid of it on active turn. I'm fine with that. And then change stealth so that it doesn't... I hate that stealth is optional. And
Yeah.
that the main thing of stealth is that you can turn it off to make noise, to bait an arrow from somebody that can't see you, to then go do whatever else you need to do.
Right.
Like, that whole mechanic fucking sucks.
Yes. Yeah, once you need like 4 paragraphs to explain to me why your play is going to work, I immediately wish this wasn't in the game.
And, like, I kind of fundamentally always use stealth.
Yeah.
I never do the, like, solid snake bang on a wall to do something trick that is what stealth
You know,
apparently...
there is like a cool way for that to exist, but
I don't see it.
yeah.
In N4, it felt like a gotcha,
Right.
and gotchas aren't fun.
Yeah.
And when the best part of stealth is that you can not be stealthy,
You're not wrong. Like selectively not be stealthy.
is weird.
Well, that was like when you'd CC attack and then you'd run around the corner, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can still use it to bait out. You're right.
I'm doing great. Are you okay?
I'm okay. Yeah.
I feel like I disconnected something.
I don't think you did.
Okay, well,
It still has power.
All right, moving on.
All right. Well, sorry.
John's a dipshit.
Yep. What else is new?
Yeah, it makes 6 cents only work in ARO.
Yeah,
Boom, problem
fine.
solved.
I'd like some reworks to the pricing on super cheap weapons and like submachine guns and assault pistols being...
Oh, submachine guns should lose AP. Except on the models you want it to have.
Which, again, that's the issue, and you can
Well, you
like...
just slap an AP submachine gun onto somebody.
Yeah.
And then it's AP plus shock. Fine, who cares?
Yeah, so I think that's something that would be useful to change.
I would love light shotguns losing their template.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, make the boarding shotgun the real shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or hot take, make light shotguns burst 1.
Ooh.
Still good in ARO. I don't know. I think, John, we're talking about shit you care about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, light shotguns. I think they should lose their template.
Absolutely. Or change how the template works.
Yeah, if you're not going to change how if you're going to change how templates work to make it so you get a hit roll against everything under the template.
I'm with you though. Templates just feel bad to me. And not in the way you think that they feel bad. I think they feel bad in that you have a 50-50 chance to fucking dodge a shotgun always.
Yeah, but at least when you're inactive, you can, if they dodge, you just hit mode.
Not when it's a chain rifle.
Okay, we're not talking about chain
Not
rifles.
when it's a flamethrower. Not when
Chain
it's
rifles
a chain
should
coal.
feel bad, because
Not
chain
when it's
rifles cost how many points?
negative.
Yeah.
My point being,
No, like
when
you can dodge them pretty.
when you put in the effort to go roll up and template something, and the fact that at worst they have a 50-50 chance of dodging it,
Unless
that
it's something
is
terrible, right?
remarkably better than any other engagement in the game. That you can just trivially ignore it.
Yes. That said.
And you normally get burst 1 on that shit. And it doesn't even actually fucking matter what your burst is. You can have a burst at 8.
Yeah, 1 dodge
Yeah.
stop.
Shotgun
Yeah.
or flamethrower, and you still just you
So-
dodge everything.
I think if you get rid of templates on light shotguns, big deal. And you can do other things with your templates now.
Yeah. But your templates have the same issue, but whatever.
Yeah. I think at least when you have a chain rifle or a flamethrower, those are typically not your primary weapon, and you get a discount for not having a primary weapon. That's what the discount is.
Right.
So a lot of things with flamethrowers have other weapons,
Sure.
right? And chain rifles are the odd one out because it's your idiot,
Right.
Quang Shi. They usually have a pistol too, though. Worth mentioning.
Well, I mean,
but that pistol should be garbage.
I got shot at a lot with pistols in N3 because you had to. Because you're outside of 10 inches and your dude's running around a corner, so you're pistoling, because
Sure.
fuck you. Anyways.
I like the
There's a lot of things you could do with templates. I just feel like they're not going to.
right.
If I'm
It makes no sense to me that when you look at the size of a chain rifle template, and you're telling me that that's pretty easy to dodge. It's actually easier to dodge than a rifle round.
Yeah. It's weird. It's kind of a weird mechanic.
It takes up a fucking city block of space.
I think it's a huge design change if you're going to make it start using BS
Yeah.
and do hit rolls
But
against
that makes it
things.
so that your shitty BS dudes
It matters.
are shitty at it.
And if that's what we want to do, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Because I'll take BS 15 flamethrower shots from my tag.
And that makes sense, though. That should be terrifying.
But so I'm assuming they're not going to change that.
Probably not.
If they're not, I do think shotguns need a change.
agreed.
Particularly light shotguns. They're just too ubiquitous. Yeah. Hit me up. Give me a beer.
All right, what beers?
Doesn't matter, apparently.
It really.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
I can't wait for that video to drop. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, Dave, we did record a beer tasting video. So, enjoy. I'll get that edited at some point.
Y'all are suffering through our apparent second to least favorite across the board, Stone.
Yeah. Ian also agrees. He wants to be able to react to repeaters being thrown out.
Yes.
Yeah,
I fucking hate pitchers.
or just specifically if you're getting hacked through a repeater, just sometimes maybe you just be willing to blow up the repeater rather than just reset.
Yep. It makes no sense to me that the router is just invincible.
Yeah. And a big part of it is if you nerf guided, will repeaters still be as much of a problem? Maybe, maybe not.
Short answer is Kind
I
of.
still faced him in N3. Like, you still had Bit and Kiss lobbing out repeaters and doing terrible things to your tags and your heavy infantry.
One of my worst feel bads with repeaters in N4 was against Morgan.
Right.
And this isn't him. It's just I had like Bit and Kiss, and I had Nicodron next to my avatar, and I was like, oh, well, I'm covered. I got a repeater there. And he had some Cyber Ghost launch a picture over it and isolated my fucking avatar, and I could just sit there with my dick in my hand and do nothing. And I'm
It
like,
is so hard
wow.
to protect things.
Yeah.
With repeaters.
Yeah.
And that's less interactivity.
Yes.
And that's what bothers me about it, is that the repeater is just a little zone of I get to do things and you really don't.
Yeah. No, I agree. And pitchers are feel bad in a lot of ways. It's a lot more work to get an actual repeater, like a repeater bot or something over across the table into zone of control.
I think even if you tweak to the way repeaters currently work, because it's like, oh, if you're near an enemy repeater, you have every hacker in your repeating network. Sure, I think keep that,
Yeah.
but also like maybe if your active turn, make it so that only the guy tapping into the network is there. You know, like they are actively going, okay, I'm online.
But does that change anything? Like,
Yeah,
how though?
but because part 2, as I've said before, repeating to repeaters.
Yeah.
So the one dude, the one active hacker is now facing off against every hacker in the enemy repeater network.
Yeah, that's fine with me. No, I think repeaters through repeaters would be a good change. Now, it might be hard, right? It might affect some armies a lot.
Good.
But...
Good. I think hacking is such a... Either it matters a lot or it matters not at all.
N3 had the same problem.
Yeah.
Like,
it's such a core part of the setting.
Yeah. And... in N3, you had the problem of killer hackers were just so good at trivially removing bad hackers from the table that you just didn't participate.
Right.
If you were Pano, you brought a basic hacker to give your bullets your marksmanship.
Right.
And you hope he doesn't die, but he's going to. And you had to bring a hacker to bring your remote. Like, that's... You're like, okay, I'm not participating in this. I'm here.
Conscientious objector.
Yeah, like, please don't fight me. I'd rather not.
Give peace a chance.
Now, you kind of have the opposite, where killer hacking is really inefficient in a lot of ways.
It really is.
Low damage is a big deal.
The low damage, you don't ignore firewall anymore like you used to.
And it's such a niche
And
thing. You only fight hackers.
So we'll see. There's a lot of unknowns, and if it really does drop in October, I'll be very happy.
They said they're running late on that.
Oh,
Makes sense.
Thank God.
What other changes do we have that we like? Oh, guard, fuck it. If I didn't already mention it.
You did.
Fuck guard.
You did. I'm really excited for the new profiles. I'm really excited to see how things change. I'm really excited for people to tell me how they changed and teach me correctly.
I'm a real slut for change.
I haven't noticed.
I'm glad they're not going to do major changes. I think the game doesn't need a lot. What do you guys
Yeah,
need?
I agree. I think it just needs a cleanup.
I do think
Something we haven't talked about yet is reinforcements.
We don't know. It's the problem. Is it going to be a core part of the game? Just because it's in the core rules doesn't mean it's like in every game.
I fucking hope so, because
I'm scared of it.
Yeah, same.
They fucked up reinforcements so bad that putting it as a core rule could really hurt the life of the game.
I think that's a one missed.
I think that's fair.
I think everybody...
All right, John, think about it. We did Shipyard Showdown.
Once. And the grand total of people that liked it was 0. The grand people that tolerated it was like 4.
Correct.
And the grand total of people that fucking hated it and said, I don't want to play reinforcements again, and I don't want to go to Arizona Armageddon or whatever it's called because it has reinforcements, was like 80% of the people.
But
way more than half.
That was when taking a reinforcements group was mandatory. When you make it a mandatory... When you make it...
But if they fuck it up again, and people don't like the interactions, like they didn't... The first time they tried it, when they rolled out this cool new mechanic that's really interesting...
I'm still a hopeless optimist for it.
I
think that
I
there's
think
room
it's a
for this to be
great idea.
super cool. It just needs to be better thought out.
Yeah.
And I really think making it so that it's all or nothing, I think the fact that it was you have to play reinforcements versus reinforcements
I think it has
the
a lot of
biggest
other
thing
issues.
that fucked up. There are other issues.
Deployment.
I think the deployment was my biggest beef.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think my other big beef is the game is not very long, 3 turns.
You can't leverage it.
And reinforcements is awkward in that
But
setting.
once it becomes a choice, That's your problem.
Except,
you
except
can lose
now,
the game.
Except now, if I don't like how Reinforcements works, I have no choice but to play against it and interact in its system.
Right,
If I don't like how it works,
can
but it
play
is fundamentally an advantage to take it.
But is it? Because most people didn't feel good about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Then why have it as an option?
Because it's a change.
But change
It's
isn't always
something-
good.
Yes.
I agree. Have any of the three of us ever tried reinforcements versus not reinforcements?
Nope.
Right.
I have had no interest in touching Reinforcements again.
Same.
And that's my fear, is that if you make it a core part of the game and you don't execute it right.
Yes.
And people already hate it.
And that's valid.
That people might go, maybe I shouldn't play Infinity this week. I should go play Horus Heresy or Cyberpunk. Like all of you fucking do right now.
Well, with the current way reinforcements are, which is not existing in the game, so I don't understand that point.
You can agree to play.
Oh,
but
fuck off.
No, you
That's your line is there. I was like, well, actually, it's not the real reinforcement.
you guys could have been playing the way you want to play however you wanted. Y'all couldn't
My
agree, so
point-
you decided to make up games of Cyberpunk where you play 4-way free-for-all
Yeah.
mosh pit. So you can make up rules for that game, but you can't
Absolutely.
modify Infinity.
Absolutely. Well, because that game is make shit up the game.
It really is. It's really make
That's
shit
the
up
point.
again.
That's the appeal of it, honestly. But
No, I worry
My-
that a half-baked, another failed attempt at Reinforcements
yes.
on top of a new edition, that's kill game territory,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
And
We've seen-
that is maybe a tad alarmist, but I do get where you're
I've
coming
seen
from.
3 games die.
Yes.
X-Wing, Armada, War Machine.
Not even Armada. Armada was dead on arrival. That game was so shitty from the start with its
Alright.
rules.
Cool.
War Machine.
Moving on.
No, it was. It was bad.
So War
so
Machine,
here's-
X-Wing.
War Machine, X-Wing. I saw Flames of War die hard on an edition change.
So here's my thinking.
People are still butthurt about that edition change because of how fundamentally it changed the game and baked things in. There are still posts 8 years later about disliking where the game is at because of the fundamental changes to the game.
Hear me out in defense of reinforcements, though.
Sure.
Of course.
I think we should be open.
I was open, and I'm willing to be open again.
We should be open to. They fucked it up.
Yeah, badly.
I would be super interested to see it A, done right, and B, done asymmetrically.
I'm having a hard
That's
time
the part
being...
where I'm
so
super
Asymmetric is
it's
interesting.
I think.
What
I
do you
think
mean
if
by done right?
That's my problem.
That's
Because you don't fucking know, do you?
I don't, and I think changing how you deploy is a humongous
I think that's
deal.
the one. That's the part that bugged me the most. Is suddenly you get a dude on a roof, like you get this free ARO piece that just.
My heart broke, if I'm being honest, because I was such a hype boy for reinforcements. I thought, wow,
Yeah, we both
this
were.
is-
We both were.
I
all
was on
were.
the fence.
Yeah, but like,
Which makes sense for
Such
you.
it was such a cool idea,
Yes.
especially specifically, and I am
To curb Alpha Strike.
enslaved to this concept of I get 50 points more, but I start with 50 points less, and that's so cool to me. I think that's interesting. I think that's an interesting opportunity cost.
And I think that's where they've had a hard time balancing it. Though.
But they said that was fine. But then they went and made it an optional, and then they made it mandatory if you do it. And I think that was a humongous fuck up. And then for a game where the interactions of when the impersonation state rules are a page and a half, that's about as long as they spent explaining reinforcements.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
The fact that I was like, reinforcements update came out and it was 1.5 pages of
Yeah.
like, and then you
Yeah.
just put your shit down when you have like 100 points left.
So the
Broke my heart
the
because they put so much love and effort and consideration into everything in this game except for this new mode that they released all these new things for and all these new
Which,
profiles.
that's
and
a
the new
big
direction of the game.
disconnect, actually, considering how much
It's
time they
insane.
invested on models, in rules writing, but mechanically,
I think
Mechanically, it makes no sense.
it
Yeah.
needed its own deployment mode. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yes.
I hate the dudes teleporting out of the drop pod.
Uh-huh.
That was garbage. I also think it should just be on turn 2 you get to do it.
Yeah.
I hated this weird cat at that tournament. I fucking hated being like, how many points have I killed? Do I kill one more thing to push them over that was 100 points lost or whatever the number was? Like, I'm at 98 points killed. I know this because I'm an experienced player or whatever. Do I kill that war core? No, I don't. because that gives me a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Because now he has to come in on turn 3. Like, fuck that.
But
That
what
was
I'll say
awful.
is that's part of what I mean about doing it right.
Yeah.
And also about
But
the
I don't know if that
asymmetry.
fixes it.
Because
That's my problem.
I think
Yeah.
if you are playing a 300-point list and you're going against a reinforcements player, go ahead and kick their fucking dick in because
Yeah.
you have the advantage, and there's a difference now. I think then the weird case is if you both have reinforcements, and then it becomes a weird cage game, and then I think that's actually interesting again.
Where I'm gonna have problems with this is I have a hard time imagining it being balanced enough that it's not always the right choice for an army. Now, it might not always be the right choice for all armies to do reinforcements or not, but I have a feeling some armies are just going to auto-include their reinforcement package.
Sure.
And I don't like that as a...
But it's so
And
part of what people took
the
issue
thing
with
that
is-
I thought was cool about reinforcements is it could have limited the dangers of Alpha Strike,
Yeah,
and it did not work that way at all.
absolutely. It just became...
Alpha Strike harder, fuck them over, you have your own order group, get fucked.
Right.
And...
The weird interactions with its own order group,
Yeah,
but
like
it's not,
all
but it
of the
is.
different...
Yeah.
It feels like it was...
Comlink was awful.
hamstrung
Dude.
from the beginning, and whether or not that still is the case, like I think we should revisit reinforcements
Right.
as a local.
In its
Meta.
current iteration, no, not interested. If it's the
I would do asymmetry.
Sure, asymmetry, but like again, if
Yeah.
I bring my dick kicking Avatar and Speculo list,
I don't know.
But
and you're playing 50 points down,
So if
I'm playing 50 points down, but I'm playing 100 points up with another group that comes
but
in.
I could
And
still
think-
kill 100 points of your army,
Yeah, and I think that's...
and that's a pretty big deal.
Yes, but I think then I think if you decide to play down to begin with, to then have an advantage later, is a valid choice.
Sure,
But I like that.
I
But
think
you already
mechanically,
have parachutists and combat jumpers.
But
you don't-
That's
you
not
don't.
the same.
It's not the same.
That is not the same at all.
because that's but both
that
are
was their
telegraphed
role.
fairly
Because
fairly
no, because
obviously.
then they come in and they've spent their own order, and it's like a whole. They don't gain momentum when they show
Give
up.
them
The whole-
Tackaware.
But that's the thing, like
Fuck
you
it,
don't
but-
have momentum necessarily
But
with
Tackaware
those
doesn't even work on that.
reinforcements.
I know. Make it work though.
Mhm.
Look, fix it.
Yeah.
That's
I
that's the
think-
thing that should be fixed. Honestly,
Yes.
Yeah.
Impetuous combat jumpers and Tackaware combat jump parachutists should be able to keep their shit.
Oh,
that
that's-
shit's fucking silly.
That would be a
and
fun
weird.
S5 change. Yeah. I
Well,
like
they got
that.
rid of it from N3. Like
No, whatever.
M4 got rid of it.
Yeah, that was N3 that worked. It works
I
that
think
way.
So
Impetuous
going-
combat jump.
If you want to have Impetuous combat jumpers, if you don't want them,
Make it mandatory. Fuck it. Like.
Oh,
No, make them come in.
no, I'm thinking of my N3 rage with Yon Yons.
Yeah, make the young
with
come in.
their
Force 'em.
inferior combat jump, which was actually better than
Force them. Force them to.
yeah. Make them extreme impetuous. They have to combat jump. Fuck you.
Right. Yeah. No,
You-
that's
you
it.
were an
That's what they're
idiot.
here for. Yeah.
So my stance on reinforcement right now, if they told me today we're not doing reinforcements ever again, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, and
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I'd be disappointed because fuck was I excited for the opportunity.
I was
that
always
represented.
cautious of it,
Yeah.
and I felt very validated in my caution of it.
You were right. You were
I
right.
didn't
They
say it was gonna-
really bungled it.
I never was on the opinion that it was going to be terrible,
Yeah.
but that I was very hesitant to be excited about it.
Once the rulebook came out and it was a page and a half, really was.
Once I
just
played
such
it, my first experience with it was 5 games of I wish I wasn't playing with this mechanic.
It was. I mean,
And
I
it was
remember,
even worse with Takimotos being involved too.
Dude, seriously, I was thinking about that earlier.
Because it was such feast or famine for whatever reinforcement package had the best Takimotos
Yep.
fucking bots, right? Like,
I remember there was a game where I think it was our first game in Shipyard Showdown, and I'm not shitting on my opponent because he was excellent, but like, man, dude, the whole game I was beating ass. I had all the boxes.
Yeah.
I was back in my
Yeah.
deployment zone.
And then these guys
I
are
was in reinforce. I was like in suppressive fire.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of fucking Apaches showed up and then just
Yeah.
ran through my shit.
that's
I
what
was
happened
like,
to me.
well, I
versus
lose because I couldn't withstand a
the
reinforcements
Nomad
rush.
reinforcement package was too much for me to handle,
Uh-huh.
and It had too many tools for the objectives. That was the thing.
And I will say, objectively, in my the Nomad's reinforcement sculpts are the best.
I think they're really good.
They're awesome.
And the models, the design space is super cool. They finally added them to their actual factions and blah blah blah.
That was a good choice.
That was my favorite thing about this.
Give me my
And that's the saddest.
Shut up. Most important thing. N5. Give me my fucking Swiss guard that has martial arts and uses his sword.
There we go.
Give me free my mans from reinforcements.
Free TK.
You can keep your bullshit
Free
decharges.
Gunna.
You can change nothing else. Give
my
me
Swiss
my
miss.
man who studied the blade.
My Swiss Miss hacker.
Yes. With his AP hacking device.
Shout out Anapodium Bolt. I miss you.
Yeah, come back.
Or not. Whatever.
I'll listen to you talk about Pano.
Just whisper sweet nothings into my ear.
Give me my man's back.
Yeah.
He was CC 21 martial arts level 1.
Dude,
it
that was
doesn't break
awesome.
the game. He also had a DACC weapon. I forgot that.
yeah.
And he has a sculpt now too, right?
No.
No.
Wait, really? He
That was
wasn't
the funniest shit.
Wait, actually?
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Dude,
No.
he's got a submachine gun.
Yeah, he's got a submachine gun tin bot. So I need a Swiss guard with tin. I need a Swiss guard tin bot, please. Corvus
Yeah.
Belly.
Wait, that's so fucking
Dude,
funny.
it's insane. It is unhinged. The fucking Swiss guard they added. It's wild.
Oh, yeah, that's so dumb.
I love him and I want him outside of reinforcements.
Yes.
So bad.
Yes.
He would not even be good.
No, he... No,
Submachine
No, but
gun
it's the point.
He wouldn't even be good. He'd be amazing.
He would actually be problematic in close combat.
I agree.
Submachine gun, pulsar, DACC weapon, surprise attack.
Mim 6, like...
Mim 6, if you give my man his camo back, obviously, right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Keep
Dude, he's
6.
no more dangerous than most of the other heavy infantry that are running
Agreed.
around right now. Like,
Agreed.
fucking
Agreed.
let him do it. Let him have his day, Corvus
Dude,
Belly.
he's a Shikami. Like...
He is there to protect the Pope, alright?
Yeah. Space Pope.
Space Pope.
Invisible Space Pope.
Sorry, where were we? I spoke over you because the Pope had some things.
I mean...
You of all people.
You of all people.
Yeah. Shout out my boy Francis. I don't know where they're going to go with reinforcements. I'd like it to change, but I don't know if there's any constructive way forward with the way they have it currently.
Yes.
It would be like you would have to
I think you need
demolish it all and rebuild it from the ground up.
Yes.
to agree.
And that's
Yes.
hard to do.
And it's
Well,
dangerous
edition
to
change.
it's dangerous to do.
Yes.
Is the bigger thing.
Yes.
That's why I was worried about it as a mid edition change because I've seen shit like that hurt a game's health, which I think
And
it did.
It definitely hurt our metas.
And I worry about it in the new edition,
Yeah.
in N5.
That's valid.
They haven't proved that they can do it.
Yeah.
And that plus vehicles, if both those flop again,
I have weirdly more faith in vehicles.
me too. I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as people might
And
think.
Right. I think bikes and drones.
I think
like-
you're going to get some mechanical changes with how bikes work.
Which, sure.
Sure.
That might
Right.
be good.
I think flying units in general should be.
Yeah, like the meteors on.
Interesting.
It'd be interesting if the meteors on flew around.
Yeah,
right?
there's a hover bike.
I don't want like flying bases or whatever like that. So I'd be
no,
curious to
I think
see.
I think flying units though would be
as like a
interesting.
unit type.
And maybe combat jumpers can like do some flying shit. Some
That'd be
of them.
cool.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of unknowns right now.
people have always struggled a little bit with like they're used to 40k. We're like, oh, my jump troops can like jump around. It's like, yeah, not here actually.
yeah, no, they jumped here.
And in N3, just to be that guy, is even funnier because they were almost all 4-2 because they were medium infantry.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So it's like, oh yeah, so like they're more mobile, right? It's like,
not really.
actually worse.
It's actually kind of similar to
That
the.
jump back's heavy, and they're not getting rid of it because that costs money.
It's emptying out of fuel.
And that kind of is similar to the Blood Angels jump dreadnought in Heresy. Like
No, fuck it. Fuck heresy.
No,
dead
but-
game, dead game, dead game.
it's more alive.
Dead faction.
It's more alive in San Diego than Infinity currently.
Yeah, well. Guess what's had an update in 6 months?
Has heresy?
Not Heresy.
I think so.
No.
Dude, the
You
reason,
said that with such confidence. You're
dude,
like,
the
"That's not
reason
true."
heresy.
Dude, talk to me about saying some shit without thinking it through.
Guys, heresy is good because it doesn't get updated.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's why I started playing Dark Eldar originally. There was a joke about, it was a meme about, like,
Oh, yeah.
buy Dark Eldar, be safe from edition changes. I was like, yes.
And then 2 months later...
And then 2 months later, the fucking 7th edition codex came out and it broke my heart. But anyway.
I do think... I wish Corvus Belli was a little more active with points adjustments in the next edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got sick of Bearpods. Like,
Yeah.
you nerf them a tiny bit.
They're perfect. They're perfect, Carl.
I know, apparently.
They're perfect. More perfect than Bulleteers.
But, like, that's the thing. You nerf Bulleteers a little bit, and you see them less.
Yeah.
For a little bit. And then people figure out that they're still good. You nerf Netrods a little bit, and, like, it doesn't change that much.
Right.
Like...
But Bearpods were perfect.
No, they were not.
Perfect. Perfect creation.
No.
Underpowered.
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 Yeah, Buffalo.
Needed climbing plus adjustments.
Yeah. No, but I think like small points adjustments on things that are overperforming, Achilles, Bearpods, whatever, Cutters, Yodems, whatever, right? Whatever thing is oppressing.
It was
people.
interesting to see the changes that CB did throughout N4.
They did so few.
Hey, while we're talking about colossal Corvus Belli fuck-ups, which is not my favorite
Oh my
subject,
gosh, we haven't talked about this yet.
painting
Yes.
competition.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah, I feel like Leonardo da Vinci would be like in the beginner category.
Absolutely beginner
Oh
category.
yeah, dude, that fucker.
He's only been painting for like, what, 40 years? Like,
Most of the shit I've seen from him is black and white. He doesn't have very good
Yeah, I
control
mean-
of color. He's only done a couple pieces. I mean,
it was only two-dimensional. Okay, so just to set the stage, Corvus Belli had a painting competition, and they, at first...
Mostly through Instagram.
Yeah. Which
social.
First
Yeah.
of all, fucking wild they did it online through pictures only.
Its own
Its
discussion.
own
Yes.
whole thing, right?
And also, too, we all paint. We're all passable painters, but we're not, like, insane.
Lawson's pretty damn good.
Speaking of which, I didn't even enter this competition, so I have no dog in this race.
I
Like,
thought about entering it.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us...
I thought about entering, and then I saw the people being like, well, because I'm not a beginner. Like, I've been painting for
Yeah,
over
I'm not
10
a beginner.
years.
Right, so they...
It might not look like I've been painting for 10 years, but I've been painting for 10 years.
I've been painting about 10 years, about 11 or 12 years is
Yeah.
where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
I've been
since
painting
about
miniatures.
10 years now, yeah.
So a beginner?
So-
Hard to say.
To set the stage, their competition was divided after some controversy into advanced, I think is what they called it, or open, or whatever.
Yeah.
There was
it's-
advanced.
It's the fucking no condoms one, right?
Yeah.
And then they had beginner.
and the no condoms.
The-
one.
Let's
the
go!
Beginner, the beginner one is where the controversy begins, because their suggestion was a year or less of experience.
So, I have it up right here.
Oh, read
Oh,
it. Read it.
Beginner. If you have been painting for a short time and still have a lot of room for improvement, or you are a novice competitor, this is the perfect category for you. You will lose your fear and show your work to
Well,
the
they're gonna
world.
lose, all right.
And then advanced is you have been painting for a long time and your miniatures look amazing. It is the perfect category for amateur painters.
Okay,
That's what it says here.
so
Amateur being all of us.
the winner,
That's advanced. That's what advanced says.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. The winner of the beginner
Where do they have that
category
posted? Is it on
Instagram. Instagram through Infinity the Game.
was, to be perfectly fair,
A phenomenal painting. Oh my God,
miniature.
amazing.
It is incredible, and that's the problem. Because then,
Can't
when
get
you look
into it.
into this particular winner's Instagram profile that he submitted this on, he has been painting since before 2019. He has been a winner in previous Corvus Belli painting competitions. He has been a medalist in the Masters painting competition. This fucker paints better than most commission painters.
Oh, easily.
His next Instagram post is of some dude with an axe, but he has a wedding band. He has a sweater on where the individual stitches of the sweater are
Yeah.
visible and are individually, lovingly painted. And not to shit on this individual's skill whatsoever.
It's incredible skill.
But, holy fucking shit, are you not a beginner? You've been painting for at least, recordably, 5 years. That is quintuple the time that they recommended for being a beginner. and
I can't
made
even find it on
literally
their
everyone
Instagram.
feel horrible about themselves. And this was for 2,500 euros.
Oh, and the best
I
part
might
too
add.
is his Instagram is just filled with people being like, "Fuck you, you're not a beginner."
This is news to me.
Yeah, so that's the real. I think that's the biggest fail here.
So not sour grapes over like. Because listen, I have no dog in the race. I think this shit's funny as shit. But
Oh, Crate Busting's been popping off.
when
Yeah.
your painting submission looks like it could have been the box art for
Or
the model,
better than some of the
or
box art.
better than some box art painters.
Because, like, again, his highlights are phenomenal.
Dude, he
Why
did
can't
like
it send me the link
in-depth weathering.
to the winner?
I'm just gonna send. I'm just sending it to you through Instagram.
That's fine.
I
It's-
just DM'd it to you.
Insane.
And like all of his stuff is phenomenal.
So
Like not trying to discount this man's
right,
artwork.
and that's the
it's
thing
phenomenal.
is that he's an incredible artist. But I will say, my God, dude, you know in your heart you're not a fucking beginner, and you know that you have a painting Instagram that you've been operating for 5 years,
And
you have been-
his is the Maximus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the beginner.
Yeah, this is a beginner model. Suck my dick. Like, you
So
are
ba-
not a beginner. Holy fucking shit.
So back in 2019,
2019, this dude was beating my ass in painting.
2019 he won a painting award for Infinity Models.
Okay, so for 5 years, he's been a better Infinity painter than most beginners. And listen,
All the power to you, buddy.
as I've said earlier, if I entered the beginner competition as a 10-year experienced painter, I'd still lose.
Yeah.
People, I would get like 1 vote from my mom. And
No.
that'd be,
If
I
you're
wouldn't
lucky.
even vote for myself. Like,
Yeah.
that'd be...
It's be unethical.
yeah, that'd be the competition, right?
So-
But fuck you. That's some smurfing
It's
shit. And I'm not... you know what? I hope to God that there's not like some like, oh, I have my kid paint this or something. I don't fucking know. The universe is weird, right?
People are so mad on the comments.
We're all pitchforks up, right? So I'm sure the universe will be like, hey, there's actually some good reason my fucking 95-year-old dad who's dying of like Alzheimer's fucking painted this, and I just posted it from my account, and we're all gonna feel really bad.
I'm not.
I doubt it. Fuck that guy.
It's been a fascinating day for Infinity because like people have just been popping off about that dude left and right.
So I will say I think this was a bigger fail on Corvus Belli's part
Completely
because
agree.
No,
Yeah.
You know you're not a fucking beginner.
No. He knows, but what I'll say is I didn't
Corvus-
enter this at all because I felt there was no category
Right,
for me.
and he shouldn't have entered.
He should have.
But also too, Corvus Belli should have called him out on it.
Yeah.
And
Or
Corvus
just
Belli,
yes,
bumped him
Corvus
into the next
Belli
category.
specifically said,
They
"Hey,
were looking at it.
Which is fucked
we're
up.
looking at like it seems like there's a lot of people who shouldn't be in the beginner category, and look who gets gold in the beginner category."
That's embarrassing.
It is, and I think it was probably a bad idea to have a beginner's entry.
It should have just been a painting
Yeah.
contest and like people's choice.
Or if you're gonna do another one, a kid's entry, which is its own problem on a social media platform. How do you enter it if you're, that's its own thing.
Yeah.
Adepticon, like Golden Demon, right, has
Young
the
Bloods,
Young Bloods, and
yeah.
that is much easier to manage.
Right.
Because that's in person versus online.
Yeah. In person ish.
Well, they still have to go there and physically.
Hand in their
Hand in
model
the
that
model,
they
yeah.
painted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure they painted it?
I don't know if there's a lot of cheating around Golden Demon. AI art and all that bullshit, that's a different story, but
They banned that now.
Whatever.
I felt like there was no category for me because I am not a
I'm with
beginning
you.
painter,
No.
but I'm not a good painter.
Yes.
And I didn't feel like there was a category that would fit an intermediate, like, aspiring painter. And I probably should have entered in beginner if I would enter in anything, right? Like, I probably qualify,
No, you definitely qualify for beginner.
but, like, it's hard to say that when you've been painting models for 12 years.
Yeah, and again, art is subjective. It is such a difficult thing to do, but because of the way they labeled the different places of entry, that's where CB really fucked up.
I didn't feel it was appropriate for me to enter the beginner category, given the description that they gave. I think I was, like, borderline acceptable to enter the beginner bracket. This person is not even fucking close.
I think if I joined a beginner's Infinity tournament and played my, like, a
2 bear
Demigod
list. Oh my god.
tournament lists, and then won. I don't know if I can go home and fuck my wife.
Oh, I think
Like,
I think you could.
For different reasons.
Not because he wants to, but because she demanded it.
Because I'm slutty. But not because I felt good about myself.
He'd be crying the whole time.
Yeah, but you don't feel good about yourself already.
Which is why I'm entering the beginners competition and then curb stomping and then being like, yeah, I'm the best beginner! I've been doing this forever!
It's pretty bad.
It is less than ideal. I will say that wholeheartedly.
I remember when I first started playing like Blizzard games, mostly.
As a beginner.
Heroes of the Storm. I'm fucking terrible. I'm always a beginner. Heroes of the Storm, like Overwatch. I learned about Smurf accounts, which were people who wanted to get bad so that they could play against bad people and then win. And I thought, what a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Axel Miniatures, I'm sorry, dude.
Like, no. Let's not name drop the dude.
No, we're talking about the fucking beginner painting competition winner for Infinity. We know who that is.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying. Listen. I try to be polite about this all day.
Yeah, but now you've had like 7 or 8 beers, and you're like, I'm feeling loose.
Now I've been drinking. Now I've been talking to people on Facebook about it. Now it's funny. I'm sorry.
I saw
You are an incredibly talented artist.
Completely agree.
But for fuck's sake, you're not a beginner.
And also, too, like that beginner's prize was a fuck ton of money.
I think that was the biggest mistake. I
Yeah.
think making that beginner's category 2,500 euros. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And it's weird because like there was some who is that chick that was just like, oh, I'm getting into Infinity now, and the top comment was like, how do you feel about the fact that they fuck up their painting competitions? Like, god damn it. Like that's
2,500 euros is about $2,800.
That's a lot of money. Like,
also,
you could almost go to the doctor for that.
Almost.
In America.
I have a $0 copay, you fucking cheap whore.
What's it like to...
Soon you won't.
Yeah, what's it like to be on your parents' insurance?
I'm not. I'm 26. I legally can't be.
Damn, alright.
Fuck you, John.
I can't afford you to. I gotta go to the doctor for it.
Yeah, penicillin's pretty expensive.
I will say it is interesting to see CB's push in influencing.
They've been pushing hard.
Which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, I loved seeing the
Where's
stuff.
my money, Corvus Belly?
No, they gave us free stuff. Thank you, Corvus Belly. I love you.
Oh, yeah, you're right. For all 12 of our viewers.
I don't have my Comic-Con mini.
I do.
I do.
I don't.
I don't even have the army. I've thought about it. I've thought about getting some Hakaslam.
Hakaslam is cool as fuck, dude.
Alright, but back to, like, a bunch of content creators have been putting out Infinity videos, and I hope they do well. I hope it goes well. But then all of a sudden, like, CB picks, like, some random... Maybe I just don't know their strategy, but it's, like, a random influencer.
Who's this?
Katie McKenzie.
Oh, but she's cute.
Oh, no, she's hot. Like,
so sorry. Like, that's why.
I mean, fair, but, like...
But is she the one that did the cosplay of the Bolt?
I don't think so.
No, because she's just getting into it now.
Yeah, and
yeah, just like this guy's a beginner.
I mean...
All right.
I mean, never mind. I think Katie will do wonderful things for Infinity. I hope it goes well. And call me. Anyways.
She's in Los Angeles.
Hey, you want to collab with with the best Infinity podcast in San Diego?
Hey, get lost into...
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, there we go.
Speaking of which, we should have a new battle report being released in the next 2 to 7 months.
Wow, please don't promise something like that soon.
I can't afford to keep to that deadline. Are you kidding me? My budget is not that.
Oh, also to Shipyard Showdown 2, Electric Boogaloo, or Taiga Boogaloo, I forget what I named it, will be happening in October.
BristlyCon 2.0.
It is on...
Now with more air conditioning.
Yes,
with literally any air conditioning.
More air conditioning, possibly an open bar if I can swing it.
Ooh.
And a different location.
Different location.
You know what, dude? Like $100 at Costco could be open bar.
There's some legal things with that. You got it.
We're good for it.
Okay, that's fine. I just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. We're getting a nice favor.
Yes. So if you are interested, it is up on OTM. Please check it out.
I should sign up.
Please do.
It's on my calendar.
I have submissions tentatively set up, but because we have no idea when N5 is coming out, we have no idea if there's going to be a new ITS season before N5. We'll see how it goes.
Are you going to commit to those missions unless there's a change to
No.
N5 or ITS?
No. Those are placeholder missions.
Okay. You should commit to some missions in
a
a couple months.
I'm thinking probably next week.
I was going to say, if there's nothing new by mid-September,
Can
I
we
would
pick-
commit to missions with the asterisk of
Can we pick the worst missions?
no.
Biotech War.
No, dude, that's the best mission.
So
No,
true.
fucking all the 20 orders to rescue 5 people.
B-Pong last launch evacuation.
God, B-Pong is so shitty.
But we want
Perfect.
the San Diego meta to like
Nah, fuck.
Rebound?
yeah. Supplies.
Fuck
5 custom missions.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yo, we do get one flex.
Yeah, we do. We could get weird with it.
We can get super weird with
We
it.
could make our own mission. That's legal.
I kind of like where this is going, so we'll see. But I'd love to see some more people come in from out of
It's
town.
gonna be awesome.
Dude, the last one was so... Even with reinforcements, like...
Dude, we had such a phenomenal time.
It was a lovely time. It's always great to see people from out of town come in and shake things up. And
Santa Cruz and Singapore and wherever.
Yeah. I think it was just... Oh, and Washington. Shout out my boy Ted.
Yeah.
Did we have someone else? I don't remember.
Yeah,
It was
I
a
don't
lot of fun. It was a really good time.
It was awesome.
Dude,
And,
like, the crew that comes out is so good.
Dude, we got a great crew.
And Infinity events are just an absolute blast.
That's for sure.
Even
They
if you're getting your shit kicked in,
I
is
won
fun.
one mission.
And that saved you from your own worst enemy.
Yeah, but then I got it.
Yeah.
I was fighting over last place. Last place got the army I donated, the fucking new monkeys. And then,
But they picked up fresh paint.
yeah,
They
then
did. They look significantly better now.
the person I beat took them, painted them better, and gave them back to me for prize support.
Which is...
What a baller move.
So I can't get rid of these fucking monkeys in my house.
So if you
Send help.
if you win last place at this tournament, I think you know what you're gonna be getting. It's either that or Torchlight. I don't know.
I will say, Game 5, I tried really hard to win that game. To not get the monkeys.
I remember you guys were both trying so hard to not get last place.
Active turn Swiss missiled him off the table.
I've never seen two people more motivated to not get a free army.
It's incredible. So if you guys know anybody in Southern California or just like in the Southwest region of the United States,
You can be a new player.
Yeah.
Or literally anywhere in the world
If
that
you-
has more money and time than sense.
If you have 5 or 10 games under your belt, show up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
There's a
seriously,
good chance
dude.
you won't take last place.
Yeah,
Like,
we
actually.
have
Because
a-
Carl will be playing.
Yeah, dude, I'm there.
We have a very diverse and experience mixed meta.
We do. We really do.
We have the highs, the mids, and the lows. We really do here. And like,
Yes.
The highest highs and the lowest
and
lows.
sometimes the
and
lows
middest
will
mids.
they'll shock you.
Let me tell you, we consistently average
Average.
middle of the fucking pack at any event we go to.
That's true.
It is
That's
For
true.
better or worse.
impressive.
I'm talking. You get 2 people who podium, and then we still middle.
2 people that don't.
2 people that are sucking dick behind.
2 people
the
just
event
fucking
space.
gobbling dicks.
Not that sucking dick is a bad thing, but like
Look, it's hard when you get turn 2 on or turn 1 on B-Pong. You just lose. All right,
We're
it's not my
just like-
fault.
We're just like, how's the game? They're like,
you're getting skull fucked behind the dumpster.
Hey, Carl, how's it going? Well, I beat the person who's this is their 4th game. Now, how'd your other 4 games go?
Yeah.
I was there. I killed some models.
so come on out, play Infinity.
Absolutely.
With N4, N5, N4.5, whatever.
Yeah, there's no way they get the rules updated.
No, they said October. I took that as Halloween. If I'm being honest. I'm not saying this shit on them. It's just that's their
Dude,
that's their
development
way.
cycles are hard, and
No, I get it. Like, but they say October. I take it as late October.
So
So
that's how it is
they're gonna
for
delay
releases.
it. Yeah, they're gonna say, "Oh, we're delayed." Okay, fine. Early November.
I'd rather it be delayed and be better.
Yes.
And there's some manufacturing that has to go in this, right? They're going to make a new book, I'm sure, like a new N5.
Absolutely.
Something, right? They need a new lore book.
Well, it's a new the Essentials kit. It's the new Battle Force.
Yep.
It's the new rule book.
Battle Force.
Yeah, there we go. 40K stock in.
Yeah. New combat control.
So again,
New stratagems.
Shipyard Showdown
New
2.
stratagems.
New codex.
New,
I want rerolls on aura abilities.
You can't
on
reroll a reroll though.
stratagems. No,
Well,
now I
sometimes you
can.
can.
That's my ability. That's my warlord trait. I can reroll rerolls.
You didn't know this?
So it's going to be October 12th and 13th in San Diego. In the I don't know what the correct area is for this.
It's on Claremont Mesa Boulevard.
No, it's on El Cajon in the
El
Asia
Cajon
Center.
Boulevard. That's right.
Business park type.
It's
deal.
fairly close to downtown San Diego.
Oh, like maybe 10-minute drive,
Yeah.
and then a hotel circle is maybe 10 as well from that area.
The park.
Oh yeah, if you're in
probably
Hotel
closer.
Circle, that's easy as shit.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, if you are traveling from out of town, you want to stay somewhere close.
What's the name of the place again?
Asia Business Center.
We'll just bring it up on maps.
It's
discuss.
a great spot.
There's pho. Ooh.
There's a
Ooh.
bunch of pho
Dude,
around there.
Is it near Convoy?
No,
No.
so this is El Cajon Boulevard. So this is the Vietnamese
Yeah.
part of town, not the Korean part of
Yes.
town.
Okay.
So Fokadao is over there. There's a bunch of really good
I
places.
fucking love Fokadao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also Woodstocks further down the road, which is something that I'm just an absolute slut for.
Woodstock's also awesome. I
So-
think we went to Woodstocks after.
And they had
What the fuck was it? We went to Woodstocks not too long ago after some event.
Woodstocks also had little prize thingies at Shipyard Showdown.
Battle
Battle
by the
by
Beach.
Yeah,
One of the
they had a camo token that's a Woodstocks pizza box.
Yes.
Oh,
They also
that's
the year
adorable.
before they had a Varangian with the Woodstocks like wooden pizza pusher.
That's so cute.
And I think one of the managers at Woodstocks plays Infinity, and so that's why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Why isn't he joining our fucking events?
Well, I'm sure
Why
he's a
doesn't he
busy
listen
man.
It's
to the
Woodstocks. It's Woodstocks Santa Cruz.
Yeah, and they're all
Which-
locally,
Which is in the same parking lot as Mythic Games.
It's great,
Oh,
dude.
so okay.
You need to make it up for Battle by the Beach one of
You
these
really
times. I
should.
understand that
I
it's
do.
a difficult swing.
It's just so hard next to
I did
fucking Adepticon. Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, but you
But I
know,
took my family.
Right. Well.
and they were lovely to hang out with.
Brielle wants more like wives to go, so she can.
All right,
Okay.
women show up,
The
please.
sister wives. of
Whatever.
Infinity.
Not down. I mean, not a no.
I will try and plan some outside of gaming activities. We will see if that actually happens or not. Because after 2 full days of Infinity,
Dude,
people
it's so
are
hard.
pretty drained.
it'll be a little bit easier because downtown's kind of a nightmare.
Dude. Okay, yeah, no. The past venue does beat the shit out of you. In parking, in sweating your body weight in water.
Yeah.
So
Has
it should be
Hodad's
nice.
right there, which is nice.
Which is incredible, but
It was an issue at that time. We did get a heat wave. We didn't plan properly for that.
How could
well,
they?
how can you?
I mean,
Place doesn't have AC.
I could have grabbed some box fans or something from
Wouldn't
home.
help.
Dude, yeah, really
would have
wouldn't.
pretend. It would have helped me feel better.
It was.
But,
it was
thi-
toast.
No, but you know, you would have felt worse after all the box fans, and we still bitched about it.
yeah,
fair
you would
enough.
have spent $100 on box fans.
No,
No,
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
not
you
even
would have
that,
felt
like,
worse.
These ungrateful fuckers who
Yeah,
are just like,
exactly.
Bruce, it's too hot. I'm sweaty. My balls are sticking to my pants. I
I
don't
drink
like
water
it.
all day. I'm dying of heat stroke.
All I've done is drink beer and 4 Monster Energy drinks and play video games and tabletop games, and I don't feel good, Bruce.
I feel targeted. No, I felt great. Are you
So
kidding
we
me?
have currently
Be drunk the whole event.
we
You don't
have-
feel bad until
if
later.
Carl actually signs up on OTM, we will have 10 people signed up currently for Shipyard Showdown 2.
It's on my calendar. That's what matters most.
And I will say, it's like months out, so I'm sure we'll pick up people.
No, I'm thinking that. So last year we had, what, 20...
20 something. We had like almost 30.
22, 24?
I think it was 24 and we had a couple drops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like, last minute.
I'd love to see more people there. There will be prizes for Best Painted.
We have
first
really good
place,
prizes.
third place.
We got to get our prizes back.
We
though.
have-
I have
weirdly
my,
good
I have them.
prize
They're in
support.
my car.
Oh, you have them?
Yeah. Do you want them back?
No, not really. I don't know.
All right. They'll live in my car.
But seriously,
take
weirdly
them.
good prize support. Like
Corvus Belli has always been very helpful with that as well.
Yes.
I've reached out to other places.
better than anything Frontline Gaming ever produced.
Dude,
All
that's
right,
why we
come
don't
on.
do the frontline gaming stuff,
Yeah.
man. It's too expensive and we can't support the prizes with the entry fee.
Yeah.
Because with the frontline gaming events, what? It's like...
No, they eat all our fucking money. Yeah.
You pay, what, $50, $60 to play?
And none of that goes to prize support.
And then they just go...
And none of it goes to prize support. You
Yeah.
fucking have to pay for parking, right? Or some bullshit. I don't remember.
The day I swore off of their events... Okay, LVO was one thing because I was visiting. But
Yeah.
out here, locally, it was like... I had employee parking because I was the TO.
Right.
And they still made me drive all the way around the event center. Otherwise, I found out they don't deliver pizzas to this event because they charge delivery people to go into the parking lot.
I mean, that's a Del Mar Fairgrounds issue, right?
Fuck Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that it was like $50, $60 to enter, none of that goes to prize support.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to justify an Infinity event for
That much money.
$80,
Yeah.
$90, right? $50
Right.
is already a lot.
For like a one-day event.
Yeah, 3 games, 1 day event, like...
It was a large amount of money.
And, like, we love having good prize support. We kind of pride ourselves in it.
No, definitely.
Oh
Especially,
yeah, we kick ass at it.
We almost have 2 good prize support.
Proportionally, it's weird how good our prizes are.
So it just... Yeah, I don't like how the frontline gaming cost structure is. I'm not blaming them inherently.
I am. Fuck them.
That's fair.
No, for a long time.
I think the venue's expensive as shit.
Yes.
Excuse me. Like, Del Mar Fairgrounds is
Yeah.
kind of...
It's expensive as shit, but you rent out the whole fucking area.
Yeah.
And 90% of it is for your fucking Games Workshop shit.
Yeah. And... Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's see. The location, it's a weird neighborhood.
Where is it?
I don't know what I would call this. Talmadge? Talmadge area?
Tell me how. Yeah, Talmadge makes sense.
Oh, I was just there recently.
It's pretty funny because like I've driven down this part of El Cajon so many times.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because like my grandparents are over in this area.
Talmadge is nice.
I went to elementary school in Oak Park and grew up in Normal Heights, so I literally
Yeah.
drove El Cajon Boulevard every single day from kindergarten through 5th grade.
And there's so much good food around there. If you don't like my options, you can just say, fuck you, Bruce, let's go somewhere else. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, you could easily stay in Mission Valley or somewhere and just Uber over and you'll be fine. For us that live far away, it'll be way less stressful, I think. I fucking hate it.
The parking lot is significantly larger.
Parking lot.
The parking lot. Parking lot.
Because I had to pay $20 to park next to 5 cars with slashed tires at the last Shipyard Showdown. I figured...
But were yours slashed?
I figured the dude's already been here. He's not going to come back.
And then you gotta pay like another $10 to have like the shirtless sleeping dude on the corner watch your car.
I thought about that, actually. I
For
honestly
real.
thought about, like, dude, do I, like,
real. Like, bro,
give a
I'll
guy
buy
some
you
cash, like...
beer. Like,
can you just, like, yell at somebody if they come to my car? I will buy
yeah,
you
like, dude, just
whatever
go ape shit. I support you.
I love you. I will buy you a Hodad's. Whatever you want.
Whatever you want, man.
Sloppy Toppy? I mean...
Fuck it.
I'd rather not, but...
Dude, hit my boy Bruce up. Bruce will blow any person you find on the street
I don't know. That's not
that you
true.
need to guard your car.
It's not true.
Shipyard Showdown. Bruce's mouth will secure your
Nope.
car.
Nope.
No,
More
that is a guarantee.
Shipyard
It's-
Slurp Down, am I
It's
right?
Shipyard-
really not.
Slurp yard, slurp down.
Let's roll that back, please. I will
Let's
not be
roll
doing
it into the back of his throat.
Morgan is very confused about what the hell we're talking about right now.
Morgan, we're talking about Bruce sucking dick to protect your car
From homeless people. Or from... Not homeless people. From lunatics who want to slash your
and
tires.
from anyone who is tire
They prefer to be
slashing.
called unhoused, Carl.
Homeless, unhoused,
You are
whatever.
probably slurping unhoused wiener.
Why
in
is
this
it
situation.
me?
Because you're running the event, Bruce.
You're the host.
A good host sucks dick.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that That's what's about to happen in like
Why do
15
you think
minutes.
he runs his events at his house and I run my events at someone else's venue in Del Mar? You run your events downtown. I'm sorry.
El Cajon Boulevard is
your
not
mouth-
downtown.
I'm talking
El Cajon
previ-
Boulevard
I'm
is
ta-
not downtown.
I'm
You
talking
shut your whore
previously-
mouth before I shut it for you.
Who's talking about whore mouths? You're the one slurping fucking wiener.
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
El Cajon Boulevard does end at University Heights, so it doesn't
Okay.
go to downtown. I'm
No.
sorry. It doesn't even make
Right.
it to Hillcrest.
No.
So
Wiener slurping central.
we should look at some venues near there for post game
Saturday.
I'd
Yeah.
be so down.
Because
Yeah.
it was fun when we went to B-Dubs
Yeah.
after Shipyard Showdown.
That was really funny, especially watching the Giants get
Get
the worst
fucking
fucking of their
wrecked.
lives.
Yeah.
And like normally none of us I think would give a shit, but our boy Morgan here, he's a Giants fan.
Morgan cared about Giants the way my dad cares about the Giants,
And we
which
got-
is what made it doubly funny.
We got to watch them break like 3 records for like the worst thing that could happen to a football
worst
team.
game ever. Listen, if you want to see a gaming performance that disappointing, you could have watched me at Shipyard Showdown. But
No, you got like.
You could have watched
4th or
me
5th
at
place.
Shipyard Showdown.
There we go.
Because I found a way to lose my games. If there was a way, I found it. It
well,
was
we found it.
only with the
Saw
desperation
it.
of a Morad army on the verge of coming into my house.
Hey,
Listen,
it was
if it's-
painted by the time you got it.
I already have a painted Morad
It's
army.
not top 3. It's last.
If you ain't first, you're last. Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby, Talladega Nights.
No, first ain't what I'm used to.
That's true.
Any other wish lists for N5 that we can think of?
More guided.
No.
More guided. I hope-
Cheaper discounts on submachine guns, assault pistols.
I do want submachine guns to lose AP as an ammo type.
I hope fire teams get more complicated.
Yeah.
I want less plus or minus 3 modifiers.
I think.
I want the math to be harder.
I actually think...
I want stratagems.
No. Fuck you. I'm going to literally shoot you.
Do
I
it.
want more stratagems. I want a codex structure like Games Workshop.
No.
I wish I could pay more money to have the best army currently.
No. So I actually do think current N4 fire teams are a little more boring than the older structure. Like at the start
Yes.
of N4 and
Yes.
late N3. I think it is easier to parse what a legal fire team is in the current setup.
Good.
But I think we lost some of the options and flavor
Good.
of weird fire teams.
Good.
Yeah?
I think the weird fire teams were a result of the amazing bonkers ass fire teams you can get. And I think that was a problem.
I agree, but I think it's left some models out in the wind with no home. Not that they really had one before, like in a competitive sense, but I think
Yes.
you used to be able to flavor in a janky piece of shit model into your fire team a lot easier than you can now.
I think what we get in return
It's probably better.
are fire teams that can include an amazing model and not turn it into a god tier face fucker. Like the
Depends.
Silver Star Prime.
That's a
The
good
Silver
change.
Star
No.
Prime
So I'm not saying that I
is-
want the pure versus. I kind of like that change. Actually,
Right.
I think I do. Some models probably should still be pure, and some shouldn't. That's its own discussion.
I think there could be some tweaks.
I think there should be maybe either more wild cards, or the fire team should have more 0 to 1 options for weird utility pieces.
Okay, but for purity or for the fire team?
For existing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No.
I think especially now that purity is like a factor, make
Right.
it weird. Make it weird as fuck.
It should. I still think it's nice. I think how they've laid out the team is nice, but something like I might struggle with right now is like, when am I ever taking a Varg? There is no fire team
When you're doing a
that I can
Infinity Battle Report with Lawson.
maybe right.
That's the only time I've ever run them.
But when I look at something like a Varg, I'm like, okay, I want this utility piece with weird kit to be in a fire team to get them up the table because that's the only way they can do it.
I think Varga Harris bait.
Right, but their only Harris that they can make is with orcs, Vargs, and blades
That sucks.
and wild cards, and that fucking sucks.
That sucks. That sucks hard.
And the wild card options in this army are okay.
Are
They're okay.
Karhu wild cards?
Karhu are wild cards, which helps a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know, more options for something like a Varg to
Yes.
not be pure,
Right.
tossed into a few.
You know what? I wish
team.
albedo gets changed.
That's it. Oh, that's a good one.
I want albedo to be
Man,
just a little different.
How many times has albedo ever affected my gameplay?
You know what?
It might be zero.
I
Like-
disagree. I have been Brian, who Bruce knows from Santa Cruz, has fucked my puckered ass with albedo. It's
You know what's
raw.
funny?
It's
Ariadna's
inside out.
more vulnerable
It's
to
disgusting. I hate albedo with a fucking passion because of Unknown Ranger.
I was gonna say.
Because my best and only attack piece is like albedo. My best and only gunfighter. In Cosmoflot.
You have the tag. He's a gunfighter.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
You're right. You're right.
No, it is funny that Ariadna, especially like Usar, weirdly
Dude,
has a lot of
MSV1
MSV1.
all of a sudden is like, oh my fucking god, albedo. I wish it was inverse mimetism.
Me too. I wish it mimetism versus.
I think the
Visors.
better your MSV, the worse it
Yes.
gets in albedo will be fucking hysterical.
I'm
And
MSV
you
3.
know-
Well, you're -9
and
against
keep
my
it the
albedo.
whole game. I think
Yeah,
it
same.
being invisible is a mistake. I think that's weirdly too hard and too limited for it being one turn of the game.
Because a lot of the time you're against a fire team, and you're
Right.
like, cool, I can't
And then
surprise
Sixth
attack
Sense negates
you.
it entirely.
So the advantage is you have mobility to complete objectives, or mobility to get into your optimal gun range,
Right.
or their bad range, right?
But the fact is that albedo doesn't affect a Sixth Sense fire team.
It barely does. It
No,
helps
literally
your
it doesn't.
No, it helps your range bands. And
If-
that's what I'm saying.
If everyone has albedo,
Right. Well, no. It helps. The model with albedo can walk and get into their optimal
Right,
range
but
with
you
their
have an
Spitfire versus a missile.
sure.
If their missile has MSV, which they don't. They all have multi-snipers, which have crazy good range bands. You're never going to get them in -3.
Mhm.
Like, you're never going to exploit that.
That's what I'm saying. Is that so? There's so many
Yeah.
crazy situations where albedo is like worthless.
Like 99% of situations.
Right. And white noise being completely different. White noise is fucking incredible.
And even that is pretty niche, but when you have... Because the thing is, it comes with the rest of the hacker kit.
Right.
Plus Cybermask.
And it's deployable when you want it after turn 1.
Yeah. The fact that albedo is only turn 1,
It feels bad.
does it need to be?
I wish it was inverse mimetism.
Yeah. I think that would not be a problem if it... Even if it was -6 to anything with an MSV.
Sure.
Right? Anything. You got MSV, it's -6. Fuck off.
Sure. That'd be fucking hilarious. Varg?
Yeah, it would hurt
Like-
a lot of those, Riot Girls. Like, a lot of these
Yeah.
really painful fire teams to dislodge.
And there's
You
no
would
downside.
be like, oh, I have a Varg with albedo. Ooh, okay, right?
Overdrawn.
Like, I'm an
Ooh.
overdrawn. I can pop this Kamau sniper a lot easier now that I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't before. Karhu, right? Karhu are not happy to see that.
And
right?
I think it would be more internally consistent with the rules of the game, too.
I agree.
The
And it would
fact
be
that
useful.
there's
You'd
a
feel like
current-
you're paying points for something that you get to use.
Right.
Right now, when I see a model with albedo in my army, I'm like, maybe that will be situationally useful.
Yeah, it's kind of useful. The best case scenario was literally I had a Guilo rocket guarding some shit, and my best tool to deal with it was either a Volcalax super jumping
Right.
inches in the air,
And
or Unknown Ranger,
and that feels
it
bad.
sucked ass. And like that's not me bitching as an Ariadna player. That's me being like, fuck.
and that's like the one time it's ever mattered. I think in
absolutely.
so, and I was a stickler in N3 for remembering my albedo because I always took a Blackfriar.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Has
yeah.
albedo.
Yeah.
That was like a core part of my build in N3, and I remembered it. And like, man, the amount of times it came up was like almost goose egg. In N4,
Right.
I don't know if I ever have used albedo in a
Same with
meaningful
Overdrive.
way.
Like
I have this thing. I have to use it turn 1, and half the time I have other things I need to do turn 1.
and then the fact that like most of the time if you have an MSV piece that's on reactive duty,
It has 6 cents.
it has 6 cents, and so it doesn't matter.
And a lot of things with albedo don't always have good long range guns either.
Right.
And you're like, okay, like
I would say what's his name, Taishang or whoever. No, Lu. Oh my God, who's the Aristere character?
Oh, Lei Gong.
Lei Gong.
Lei Gong.
yeah, his albedo. Who
Is
cares?
an albedo character, but he can show up later in the game, which makes it weirdly disproportionately better, in my opinion. Is that you get to
What,
pick?
does he have
when-
a parachutes profile or?
He has something.
Or is he?
I think he's got combat jump. No.
No, he
Am I making
doesn't.
this up?
You're making
Yes,
this up.
you're making that up.
He's albedo, MSV1, NWI.
He's got wings. I thought he had combat
no,
jump. Never mind.
It gives him 6'2".
Yeah.
Fuck.
No,
You were just very wrong.
I was
Yeah,
like, he
all
doesn't
right.
have that.
My bad. I
In my head, because I'm like, he
overestimated.
could fire team. In my head, I'm like, he's a fire team guy. He
Yeah.
can do that
Yep.
in some of the armies he's in. But yeah, he has albedo, and you're never going to use it.
Yep.
Because his best ranged weapon is a shock marksman rifle. His other one's a submachine gun. Are you really going to spend all of your first turn
Nope.
navigating into range to use those weapons to clap some MSV guy? The answer is no. Yeah, albedo. That's a good one. That needs...
I do like that.
Because like when I look at albedo on my Varg, my eyes just gloss over it. I'm like, that is not a rule. Like that is not a piece
It's
of
definitely not the
equipment.
reason why you're bringing the Black Friar.
No. I was only bringing the Black Friar for the MSV. In N3 specifically, because my NCA just didn't like have a lot of other MSV2 available because I'm not bringing the Deva, and in N3 right MSV1 didn't do anything to smoke, so like it was MSV2 or like don't bother. So like I brought the Friar just for that, and I don't know, I probably shouldn't have, but. Yeah, the one you bring before they added the rocket launcher one was the Discover +3 albedo Biovisor. Biovisor is another thing I think they should change.
It hasn't come up that often against
I think
me.
Biovisor should go straight to revealed.
Ooh, that's spicy.
I think you should hard counter the good impersonators. John, what do you think about this? Biovisor.
What?
Biovisor should go through 2 levels of impersonation if it gets you.
Absolutely. Biovisor, as it currently stands, is almost useless.
Yeah. When it helps, you're like, cool.
Right.
I still need to spend like a
Because
bazillion orders.
Impersonation 2, literally, Biovisor does nothing. Or give Biovisor +6 to Discover.
The Blackfire, so the Blackfire, just as an example,
Right.
already has +3 to Discover,
Sure.
and it is still a worthless piece of kit.
Right. Give Biovisor +6 against Impersonation.
Yeah, that's like a net +12.
Right. So
That make it censor for most things. A lot of things with Biovisor are whip 13, and that's fine.
So
right?
Biovisor against an Imp 2 would be +9.
and I think it
on
should do 2
Blackfire.
levels, like fully get rid of impersonation state.
Absolutely.
None of this.
Okay, I straight up think the current way Impersonation 1 works is wild.
I think alright, here's my hot take. If shotguns lost their templates, that would already be a huge nerf to impersonation, because that's one of the biggest problems I have with Fides in N4.
Sure.
Because they, with impunity, can get wherever they want and fork you with a template.
Well, because they
shotgun.
can move 20 inches.
Yes.
They can literally move 20 inches before it matters.
20?
Move.
4, 4, 4, 4. And that's
Then-
as
then the
far as you
Discover.
can get.
Right.
That's if you get discovered twice.
That's
you
if
can
they
move,
are lucky.
Yeah, you can move 16 inches, and then you get 4 inches
And then
the
off
attack.
your
Okay,
dude.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you get
Makes sense.
20 inches and an attack.
And then an 8-inch template forking
Right.
with the shotgun,
So-
or you go into CC and do that fork,
So
which
any
is brutal,
any
right?
impersonator 1, all 2 of them get 3 of them. There's a character.
Yeah, exactly.
All
How dare
3
you,
of them
sir?
get 20 inches before they have to decide what they're doing.
No matter what equipment
No
you have.
matter what happens, there is
The
no
only thing that slows them down is terrain.
there is no mine, there is no discover, there is no
passion.
anything. There is no straight
The
up
only way a mine slows them down is if they have to walk around it.
is if they block it.
Yeah, I block staircases with mines.
Yeah,
And like that's a legit.
which is such a anyway. The fact that the best defense against an impersonator is to put your important dude in a corner and then put a landmine directly catty corner to
or
you.
leave a body in the way. Honestly,
That's the mine.
or a body.
mine
I've
is
done
the-
that too, where a specula has fucked me up, and
Yeah.
like I'll just like run a body on the staircase and fight
Right.
it, and or do whatever. It's like,
And
oh, it
you're
died.
like, well, I'm here. You can't move past me.
You can always case back a body onto the stairs too.
That's an excellent
That's
point.
really funny.
Things I
yeah.
think about.
Somebody at ankle height prone is enough to stop me from getting at you.
And once again, as somebody who now is a Hakkasan player, uses Fides. I think
Yeah,
that
when was
shit.
the last time you used one?
I've been playing Hakazan more recently than Cosmoflot.
That's good.
When was the last time you played them?
Before Lost Con.
There we go.
It's been a minute.
I really think if light shotguns lost their template too,
That'd be
it would
huge. That would
really
be-
make the Fides so much less of a problem.
I think
They'd still be so good. I faced them in N3 and they were still so
No,
fucking
they'd
good.
be incredible. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
The fact that they can template like a whole fire team, like with impunity, right? Because you get burst 2 and like
But
it forces the fire team to dodge is the problem. And
but that fire team also then does dodge on probably 11.
but that's the thing. It doesn't matter because you don't actually template them. You force the whole fire team to dodge. Is what I'm saying.
and then they dodge and then you do whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
Right. That's
yeah,
that's my point.
That's
is like force
fair.
them into a decision that like is uninteractive.
Which is a pretty big fucking deal.
Mhm.
Being
Yeah,
able
that's a good
to
point.
being able to have your cake and eat it too is a
Yeah, because this
Huge
impersonator
deal.
wiggles, and you're like, oh my fucking god, I'm gonna lose my entire game, and like probably plus my lieutenant. Your lieutenant's probably in the fucking Fusilier fire team. Am I wrong? So yeah, that's fair enough. I don't foresee an
No.
impersonator change. If I'm being honest.
I don't see a lot of big changes actually happening.
Me either.
And we'll
but,
we'll see if we're right, and I hope that I'm wrong.
But
Fuck
I
the light
will
shot.
say, between Guided Natural Born Warrior, Martial Arts, and
All good changes
crits,
so far.
I think those
And
are...
the crit change is like not even a change. That's the most beautiful thing about it.
Okay,
It is a feel good change. It's
I-
almost like the crit change from N3 to N4.
yes.
Where mathematically it basically didn't matter until you were armor like 8 or something
Yeah.
like that. Which is like
I
nothing.
feel so good about it, though, because holy shit, does it feel bad to roll a 1 with your ultra face fucker melee person.
And then they rolled a 5 and then you still win.
And then
Feels
they
bad
rolled-
for everybody.
But then they rolled a 6 and you didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
it's-
And you're like, dude...
The thing
I
is,
don't
you have
know.
to think so hard about whether or not you won, and then that like disappointment roller coaster is just
Right.
it's just lame.
Right.
Okay, what's Morgan got?
What up, you slut? Get him in Discord. I don't know. Like,
That'd be a pain in the ass.
That's more work than I want to do.
yeah, that's fair.
Tanaka is going to quote us: "A good host sucks dick." Gonna officially making that the banner for Infinity Crit posting.
Good for him.
Tanaka, please
Wait,
cite
did he
your.
say that?
Yeah, Tanaka said that.
Oh,
Shout out
Yeah,
my boy
that's
out.
fine.
Shout out my boy out.
Can you just cite your sources on that one? That's all I
yeah,
ask.
dude, just give us a fucking put the logo there. Like,
just put my
Yeah.
put my shitty face up there.
put that face of Bruce.
Instead of the Michael Jordan like fuck them kids, it's a good host sucks
Fuck
dick.
yeah, a good host sucks dick, and that Bruce face we send is a meme.
Can't wait to show my parents that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan, we did already talk about evil hackers being like really sad pandas
Horrible.
and
Horrible.
Horrible.
like you bring them when you need them, but like they don't do
No.
anything.
Dude,
Well,
evil
the
hackers are
extra
fucking
order on some
worthless.
of the missions helps.
That was such a band-aid though.
I completely agree.
Okay,
John's
just
not
sitting
back
back
down.
down.
his chairs.
Even with the Evo Hacker bonus, it's probably not worth it unless you were already taking an Evo
Yeah.
Hacker.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
totally,
yeah.
Totally.
The one, yeah.
Also,
no.
buff my tractor mules.
Buck my mules.
Buff my mules.
They already did.
Buff them again.
Your mules actually got a
Buff 'em
huge
more.
buff this edition.
Buff them more.
Because they don't have to take a dozer.
More. More.
Anytime you don't have to take a dozer, big deal.
Yeah, and you got your no hacker remote thing. So
Everyone got that though.
I didn't. I didn't. I had to take a fucking dozer still. I just caught up 3/4 of the way into the edition.
Wait,
so...
wait, like Ariadna should?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Let's see.
my
What else
God.
did Morgan say? He wants to see 2 more hacking programs per type of device. Maybe not 2. I could see one.
Like one more would be good.
Like I think there's I think regular hack. We said this earlier, but I think regular hackers should have an offensive hacking attack against enemy hackers that hurts their brain, but it's worse than Trinity. I think I could see Hacking Plus getting a new program too.
I'd be down with that.
Hacking Plus feels a little bit too weird utility. Because
Hacking
white
Plus
noise is
gives you-
good, but it's not always. It often doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
It often does not matter because you've brute forced your way through their one MSV model.
I disagree, man. I think white noise is a game-changing program.
Except when it isn't.
I build my lists around white noise.
You play an army who has MSV1 glued to every model that matters.
I'm talking about when I'm playing nomads.
That's fair.
Or
I guess.
combined. Or
Really?
Yeah, dude.
For combined?
Onyx. Onyx has white noise out the fucking
Yeah,
cloaca.
that's an excellent point.
Speaking of which, I heard Onyx is going to be the new focus of combined, which is hype. But
Well, they will be the next updated sectorial.
which is
of
cool.
They need
I
it.
think they need it.
Oh, they definitely do.
But
the bugs was a big deal.
The Band-Aid with the bugs is useful, but
I'm
it doesn't
so
change their
excited
list
for that,
that
but-
much.
they have a hacker that's not
Yeah.
horrible.
They don't. They can further ignore the Mac Reap.
Yes. It felt
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm gonna maintain that I think white noise is a pretty niche program because a lot of armies only have one MSV model on the table.
sure.
I mean, Varuna has two options. One's a character, the other's
But-
the sniper. That's what I'm just saying. Like
Aren't
there are
both
many
snipers?
armies.
You're saying only has two options, like one of them wasn't game defining.
No, it is.
for like an edition and a
But
half.
white noise doesn't fucking help.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
You're right.
That's just a
That's-
complicated way of saying it depends.
What I'm
Yes.
saying is, at least with white noise versus albedo, you have the rest of the hacker toolbox plus cybermask, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it fine.
Yes.
But I would like Hacking Plus to have a better offensive hacking program,
Yes. Absolutely.
right? Even if it's just Trinity.
Did they get Trinity?
No.
No. Then give him Trinity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that'd be fine.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Hacking
good change.
plus getting fucking Trinity would be incredible.
It's weird that it doesn't. Is like my thing.
You're right. Because
Like-
hacking plus should be like I hack all the things.
I have the really dope hacking device. I can do all the things.
Right.
Like I'm an expert hacker, and it's like, well, yeah, but you don't have the killer hacker, which is the cheapest hacker device.
And I maintain put spotlight on Evo hackers. I really think
It
that
depends
would
on what they
fix
do with guided,
so
but that
much
is a
shit.
great
even
suggestion.
Yeah.
then, I think hackers being universally good against everything is a weird choice. Because currently, hackers are good at everything.
It's because they made him assault. They took assault hackers from the last edition,
Sure.
ported him over,
But currently,
cleaned it up.
killer hackers are useless unless there's a hacker on the board. Currently, Evo hackers are useless unless you're doing something involving
Combat
a unit
jump,
that they support.
combat jump, or remote that
And
you're
then
fighting with.
regular hackers are good at hacking anything that's hackable and are good at anything that's not hackable
Yeah, it's
through Spotlight.
and you can always do upgrade spotlight to the particular models
Sure.
that you maybe want to have spotlight, and that's
Sure.
fine. Like maybe a character, like maybe Uahahu or something, right? Right.
Sure.
Like you want them to have spotlight, give them spotlight.
I just
Fuck
think
it.
Spotlight's such a easy
I hate it.
and game-changing.
It's also
Program.
so talking about tracking game state too. It's obnoxious if your opponent has a lot of things walking through your hacking network and you're just spotlighting a ton of things, and you're kind of vomiting out all these spotlight.
My
tokens.
brief time playing Hakazlan Vanilla was such a misery in just spotlighting everything.
Everything. If it walks through the zone, you're spotlighting it.
Dude, I had a Nadir just forward observing shit just to more spotlights. Like,
You know what else I would be interested in is spotlight versus forward observing be different.
sure.
Forward
I think
observing
forward
is this-
observing is weak, but
It's a skill I've had a hard time with because you never fucking use it. I know sometimes you do.
Oh,
I've arrowed
But
with
this
it,
is
right?
some area out in the bullshit.
That's
No, it's
Hakazlan
Hakazlan for forward
bullshit.
observe. Yeah, because
Yes.
they have
It's a-
three.
Oh,
They
It
have
is
three
a-
more willpower than
it
they
is
do ballistic.
it is
Yeah.
a technical weapon, and it's on some shit that's probably my net here
So, yeah,
is
there
minus
we go.
6 mimetism. He's got a fucking ODD, and he's whip 14, and I'm forward observing you after 24 at -0.
Yeah, and he's got like some other weapon that you don't want to use, an arrow or whatever. So you just fuck
Submachine
you,
gun.
have a forward observe.
Right. I did that against Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that probably won me the game. It was like at a tournament. I had a nadir. I was just throwing forward observes on anything that moved.
Adds up.
And then guess what? Guided Missile Bot would just clean it up later.
I also think
So
targeted should possibly get rid of the -3 to reset.
I agree.
That would be interesting.
It's easy to forget about.
It's brutal.
And
It's unnecessarily brutal considering how horrific your life is
When
for
you're
being targeted.
And again, this might all not matter if guided missiles are like no longer a thing. I know they will still exist.
Yeah, they still will be. Yeah.
But in N3 they existed, but they were not a thing. Because they were just not efficient enough to be used. And that's where I think they should be.
I like them being a niche play.
And that's what they were in N3. And that's
Because
where they
in
need to
N3,
be.
you know what I did? I was an Ariadne guided player.
Right.
I had a scout forward observe some shit, and then I tractor muled
And
it.
I think that's a fun tactic for people doing weird shit. And that's why I liked the N3 version a lot more. The N4 version just sucks. In N3, you
Because
know
it
that you're not being efficient. You know this is probably not, like, the best strategy.
Against a good Hakazan player, like, okay, just talking as like a, I would consider myself a fairly high level Ariadne player.
Yeah.
Right? Against a similarly matched Hakazan player, I'd be like, God fucking damn it. Because all I needed to do was have anything of value in 24 inches of a fucking pitcher, and that shit was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd throw a pitcher, they'd spotlight me, and they'd fucking missile me till I was dead. And guess what? It took. Oh, it's inefficient. It's really not. You're gonna tell me you fucking gunfighted Unknown Ranger
See,
efficiently?
that's what I'm saying. In N3, it was inefficient because of what you had to go through.
But I'm talking about this
And you
current
couldn't do it
edition.
in arrow.
Is you're not gonna fucking gunfight like
No.
a MIM3 fucking MSV1 model.
You have to spend 4 orders to get to them, and
Right.
then you got to spend another 3 orders gunfighting him, which you might die.
Yeah.
Right?
And then once I switched sides and I started doing the Hakazlam shit, I felt bad about how fucking boring my game was.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
boring
like
as shit.
I had a repeater in an objective room, and I was like spotlight, spotlight, spotlight.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, it's my turn.
All right, here's my 5 guided strikes.
I guess I'm gonna missile you, like because it's easier than trying to fight you conventionally.
There's
I
another
don't
thing
know.
they could do with guided too is give it disposable ammo.
Yeah. Which
Yeah?
is disposable, kind of, but not really.
It's not.
Give a missile disposable 5. That's the limit on one turn of.
Ooh, that'd be brutal for your Fusilier missiles, but
No. Guided.
well, guided already has 5.
Yeah.
5 per turn.
That's
Right.
how it is.
Are you
already.
saying
Per
per game?
turn, per game. Disposable 5 on guided.
Oh,
means
as-
you have 5 per game.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, but you said per turn.
You did.
No.
You did.
Yes.
I'm saying it's
I
per
get it.
turn. It's per turn.
Oh,
currently.
gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Per
you
turn
want to
currently.
switch it to per game.
Yes,
Yeah.
per
Okay.
game.
My apologies.
You get
My-
5
yeah, okay,
guided.
gotcha, gotcha.
Maybe I said it wrong.
No, that'd be
Yeah, you
fine.
did.
But 5 guided missile strikes per
Even
game.
that would still probably
Per
be
model.
fine.
Oh,
That's one
yeah.
of those things. It's one of those changes that would actually probably not really be a nerf in,
For real.
in like most games.
Yeah.
But people would shy away from it.
But it'd feel better.
Because you can only do it 5 times.
Yep.
You wouldn't build your strategy around it because you can only kill 5 things max. Templates, blah, 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 blah.
It's still incredibly good.
I'd feel better about it. I feel better using it. I'd feel better being on the receiving end
Yeah.
of it.
As it stands right now, again, if you told me guided was gone tomorrow, I'd be a little sad. But I would also be like, fine. If you can't fix it, get rid of it. Because right now it is a parasitic gameplay element that drags the game down.
As it stands, it's a Fizz -3 versus a BS17 at worst.
Yep.
And you fucking tell me.
For free.
It took a pitcher and a.
It took 2 orders to set up.
It takes
Max.
it takes 4 orders roughly,
To
right?
kill anything on the table.
No. 4 orders to set up, conservatively.
That's really conservatively.
No,
That's
but-
like the
but-
bad armies, and they flubbed a pitcher.
But I'm
or,
I'm
like-
saying you fuck up your first pitcher, you succeed your second pitcher. You fuck up your first spotlight, you succeed your second spotlight. Right? Because I'm talking you're spotlighting
Something
on
competent.
burst 1, whip 13 versus a reset at burst 13, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming whip 13. I'm assuming
Right.
you lose the first of every roll. So it takes 4 orders to set up a guided.
Yeah, probably on average. Offensively.
So,
not counting the defensive where they walk through a repeater and you just get it for free.
Right. So 6 orders max
Kills anything
to
in the
missile
game.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the hardest hit you can get in the game.
Pretty much.
Which is a damage 15 explosive AP.
14.
Ignore 14. Sorry, damage 14.
Missiles are weirdly
You're
low
right.
damage.
Damage.
You know this when you run into antipode or total immune things. You're like, man, like, why is my missile a little bit stronger than a rifle? They're medium strength, right?
14 You know what? Total immune would be another thing. We're wish listing.
Oh yes,
total
immune.
I would change total immune. I think total immune is currently outdated.
I
Honestly,
think it's too swingy on that. Models that have it with high armor, it's like brutal.
it's insane.
And then model like the fucking Uberfall has it, and you're like, this is situationally useful, but not oppressive.
Okay, here's the weird thing about Uberfall. I think Uberfall, it doesn't matter in range combat.
Yeah, it matters a lot in close combat.
Once you get into melee, it's
that
suddenly
explosive CC
gold
weapon.
tier. Yeah.
That Achilles.
Yeah,
who,
you go fight an Achilles, you go fight anything with a DA or explosive CC weapon, and you're like,
and she's
fuck
already
you,
turned off the
idiot.
martial arts.
Yeah. So you're like, I got past
No,
one save.
that's a good shake. I think
But-
total immune. So we've talked about ballistic resistance would be a good.
I think if bears had ballistic resistance, for example, I
'Cause
think
it's-
most things, Volcalax, bears, bronzers, like anything that's like gunfighty with total immune, I think would be better served by ballistic resistance.
Because it's weird that like an anti-tank missile is not effective against a bronze.
But a
like-
combi turret is gonna fuck you up. I mean, mathematically, talking as somebody
Yeah.
who relies on total immune a
Not when I
lot,
use it in
I
Battle
sh-
by the Beach.
I shit my pants at a high burst BS-13
Yeah.
weapon. Sorry, damage 13
Because
weapon.
the most you're gonna take from a missile is 1 damage.
right.
I know crits, blah 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 blah, but
But that ain't gonna happen, especially with burst 1. But you know what?
burst
the fuck-
1 5% chance,
you-
and you still have an armor save.
You know what that fucking F-13 turret's gonna do?
Can
It's
do-
got a 3 times likelihood of critting me.
It can do 3 to 6, and the missile can do 1 to 2.
And that missile is 1 point better than the turret.
It's just not a lot, and that feels it just doesn't.
That is a wild thing to think about. Those free turrets are surprisingly useful for them.
High burst, just
Yeah.
number of dice scares the living shit
And
out of me.
I just don't
as
like
a
the idea that a
bear player.
missile's not a very effective weapon against a bear.
It should be.
It should be. Like,
should be.
it should be.
And
right?
they should be tough.
A
I mean, they
flamethrower.
should be tough. They should be
Yeah.
resistant to missiles, but not like that.
Not like that. Not ignoring.
And then not conversely weak to small arms.
relatively weak. Like, proportionally, they're still tough against them, but proportionally to the high anti-tank fuck-off weapon that's supposed to kill a tag.
When you compare the use of a, because
Right.
you're supposed to like account for the fact that it's like a high damage, high ammunition effectivity
Right.
attack versus a combi rifle. So it's a 1 point difference
Yeah,
between a
it's like
missile and a
nothing.
combi rifle.
Yeah.
So the fact that a combi rifle fires 3 times makes it 3 times as effective.
It's bizarre, and it doesn't feel good.
Absolutely.
It's also not intuitive, right? You would think
Right.
an anti-tank missile versus a bronze is good,
Absolutely.
right? And you'd think...
I think now that ballistic resistance exists as a
Yeah.
rule in the ecosystem,
And you could also give things ballistic resistance and close combat resistance, or whatever, right? You could give them both. You could just give them resistance 3, right?
it
You
feels real weird that I'm safest against Achilles in close combat.
Yeah.
Could, yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it?
You know?
Because he could do 1 damage a turn, 2
Well,
with crits.
Probably 2. But yeah, like
Possibly 2.
But
But
the
still.
fact that his Spitfire is like way less dangerous than
Or way more dangerous
yeah,
than
yeah, exactly. Like the fact that he can like beat the shit out of me in ranged.
That's a good thing to remember, yeah. Total immune is something... Honestly, you could probably get rid of it.
I think it
I
gets.
don't know
I think
what
it's
models-
too weird at this point.
I also think it's very, like, I don't want to say faction defining, but it is an important rule for a lot of units that are very important to certain
And
factions.
they need something that replaces it. I'm not
I
saying
think-
get rid of total immune and do
Even
nothing.
give
Sure.
it damage resistance.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Even ballistic cell resistance, sure, but like damage
And
resistance.
that could be something cool where maybe the Uberfall loses its ballistic resistance but gets CC resistance a lot.
Sure.
Right? Like -6. Something
Sure.
like weird.
Yeah.
That like...
Because I think we did the math on this a long time ago, but it was like a missile or like something like that against a BS resistance -3 model was about the same.
It's
that sounds about
similar,
right.
right?
It's similar.
But it doesn't say you don't get your rules.
Yeah.
Right.
And that sucks.
Right.
When you pay a lot of points for a fancy weapon, and you're like, oh yeah, you don't get any of your rules. You're like, oh, so I'm just a burst 1 Spitfire?
Right.
Like, with terrible range bands?
And it almost might as well be a combi rifle.
Like, feels bad. And I don't think there's any models currently with total immune that necessarily need to keep it in the sense of like double action and
Against ammo types.
explosive and
Yeah.
AP without, because so a Volcalac,
Mhm.
give it ballistic resistance 3 or just resistance 3, whichever,
I would
and
come.
it's still tough, right?
Yeah.
That's still now where you might get into trouble, right? Resistance 3 is almost the same as +3 armor, but it ignores AP
Yeah.
in its own weird way, right?
Yeah. Well, so I'm thinking against like tags, right? Like it's weird because a machine gun versus a tag machine gun is basically the same thing to me.
What do you mean? Like
Okay.
the damage difference between
like
a tag...
an AP machine gun versus like something else, right? But okay, the scariest thing to me, like as a Volcalac player,
Right.
is a Spitfire.
Right. High burst, moderate damage.
It's a high burst. It's at the right damage point.
It's 13's a little too low. 14 is really good.
14's perfect.
A regular machine gun is maybe better at certain range bands, but like in the same ballpark.
So where I'm getting at with this specifically as a Volcalac
Because the missile.
player is because missile.
You can
You're
get
at
into
good
that
range
range
of a
band.
Spitfire, and I'm at bad range.
Right, and suddenly your math is not looking so
Right.
hot because
So
you're only
the
BS12.
scariest thing to me is a Spitfire. So I'd benefit from ballistic resistance.
Right.
But
Some things will benefit and other things won't.
But what's wild to me is that an AP heavy machine gun from a tag engaging me from across the board is worse than some idiot with a Spitfire.
Yeah, and
You know, like that feels wrong to me.
and in ARO, that tag with a multi-heavy machine gun paid a lot of points for that explosive
And
shot.
that shit is a joke to me.
And you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit.
So it's weird. I don't know. That's something
I
tweak.
think you could also kind of get rid of the vulnerability with that.
Now that would be interesting.
Because most of the vulnerabilities in this game, right, are viral.
Yes.
How many other vulnerabilities exist?
I think that's it.
No,
I think
that's it
that's
for
it.
vulnerability viral.
Okay.
That's it.
So if you take your bear and you give them ballistic resistance, sure. Maybe the viral's a little bit worse. But it's still hitting their BTS on double action.
Against 0.
Against
Which-
0, well, maybe 3 if ballistic resistance works against it, right?
Yeah.
So effectively 3. Right?
Yeah.
But
fair.
the viral is still a check to the bear because it hits BTS
You're
without
still getting wrecked.
without being this uber hard counter.
Mhm.
Which was it ever? Viral is its own weird thing because it's so inaccessible that like
Agreed.
calling it a counter is like
Unless
okay.
you're in Hawk. Or
even
you have
then, like
You know what? I would say weirdly, breaker weapons
Yes.
would be where it suffers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because breaker would...
but maybe that's okay.
But you know what? The AP would apply at that point. Which...
Well, it depends on how ballistic resistance works. If it reduces the what is the word we use for damage now?
POS.
The POS. So if it just reduces the POS,
It increases the POS.
increases the POS. Sorry.
No, I'm saying that because I'm struggling with it. It's on the front of my mind. That's why I'm like, no, fuck you. It's positive now.
If it increases the POS of all ranged attacks, AP won't do anything because it's not armor.
Sure.
In this scheme that I think in my head to be like consistent with,
Sure.
because if you just wanted to be armor, you could just give him 3 extra armor.
I mean, let's talk M4, right?
Right.
It's ballistics. It's
If it would reduce the damage of the, although fucking armor also just like reduced the damage of the weapon. Nobody thought about it that way,
Right.
but like that's how it worked. Don't
Right.
worry about it.
right. So
So like in that sense, ballistic resistance was immune to AP currently,
right.
and maybe it should still be.
But it's not. I mean,
The thing is, it's still hitting your BTS, and your BTS is terrible. And
0.
Yeah, so up to 3 with your resistance, effectively. Is that big of a problem?
No.
Especially if
Still
everything else in the game is doing its double actions and its explosives and its continuous damage. CB, fix your fucking continuous damage crits.
Ooh, yeah.
Dude. Okay, I
Fucking
really...
change that. Not because I think Flame needs a buff. It does. But because I'm fucking sick of dealing with it.
I'm so over the fact that T2 and continuous damage are the 2 damage types in the game
that play weird with crits.
Yep.
Especially, look, you could also just get rid of T2 and replace it with double action if you really want to.
Honestly.
Like, you could do that.
You're not
T2's
wrong.
fun, it's cute, it's flavorful.
But it feels fucking bad on a crit.
And, like, does it need to exist, is my question.
Agreed.
Does it...
You know,
Is it that distinctive from
Nope.
double action
nope.
that it should exist in a game state?
Not in any meaningful way.
It is different. I'm doing air quotes for those
For
of
all
you,
our audio listeners who can't see your webcam.
which is not on.
Yeah, it's
That
just
you
screen
think.
share.
I mean, it is blinking. You know, I really like that my work computer has a physical thing
Yeah.
that you slide
You
to
know,
block the
I
camera.
had one of those until very recently. It fell off, and I realized it was never blocking my actual webcam.
I've had my.
I was blocking the wrong lens this whole time.
I've joined a meeting where the webcam turned on automatically. I'm like, no. No, thank you. No one.
So
needs
I
to see
found
this
out
one.
that Zoom will, if you're fucking around with filters, will change it in the meeting you're in.
Yep.
Because I was fucking with avatars, and so like I had like a cow head, a cat head, I had a
You were one of those
X-Wing
idiots
background.
in this.
It was in the beginning of a meeting. It was like a fucking status meeting, and then I heard people cracking up, and I was like, "Ah, god damn it!" Like, this was like beginning Zoom. This was years ago.
Okay, yeah. So you were in the trenches of COVID.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have another N5 question.
Oh no.
Ready? This is a spicy one. Shock. Should it go away?
No,
Okay.
This is the immediate. Fuck you.
no.
The reason I ask is because so often, okay, twofold. So often, things you would want shock for are shock immune, right? NWI dogged fuckers. And doctors already suck.
Right. I think shock currently exists as a delight when it matters.
I'm not going to disagree. I
As
don't
a
mind
treat,
if it stays.
I am delighted when shock matters. It comes up often enough for me, especially against my nemesis Aleph. The amount of times I've elected to use a heavy pistol over an AP Spitfire for an engagement specifically
For the
because of the shock.
So the reason I ask is it could help reduce the feels bad of the one wound NWI shock immune discount.
I think fuck that. That's what
That's
I'm
fine.
saying. Like
That's fine. It's
make
not that
them
big a
2
deal.
wounds at that point.
I'm fine
I don't.
with that.
I think we're fine.
It's fine. It's just one of those things. It's a rule that is on a lot of things and comes up very infrequently.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what I would like back
I
from
think it fucks dogged warbands so hard because
the few that don't.
it gets me on Varangians all the
Yes.
time, and I recognize that as valid.
You know what I want to come back? I want stun ammo on multi weapons to come back.
Sure.
On all of them.
Sure.
You know,
That shit is hysterical.
They used to have it was burst 1, so it wasn't. You couldn't oppressively bully a tag in
burst
active
2,
turn.
yeah. It's in a fire team.
Sure. But it was a cute ARO option, and especially on like multi rifles. Like
Oh, be awesome.
yeah, and like maybe you just give it to multi rifles. That's fine.
Or any multi-weapon.
But I think any multi weapon would be fine.
makes sense.
Oh, I would love total immune to change.
I mean, we love a lot of things to change, and we'll see if they happen.
They
but
probably won't.
I doubt it. Yeah.
It's fine if total immune doesn't, but it's such a feels bad right now.
Something that's not related to N5 and stuff like that is I'd love to see them do more of like the paint set stuff again and like try and get
The
more.
paint sets were cool.
They really were, and I wish they would try and do something with that or keep helping out with the hobby side of things, because so many people get into Infinity and get intimidated by the hobby side of it,
and they really shouldn't,
rather than the gameplay of it.
I think people overestimate how hard the medals are. I think they're used to the old GW medals that were really a pain
But then,
in the ass.
also, too, the metal models are intimidating, and the style that they are very different than the GW.
And I think they're way easier to paint on average.
I agree, and I would like more content out there for that.
I think it would be cool if every starter set they released had a similar paint set released with it.
Yes.
With one of the new line troops or whatever. A flavor model, not a character. I don't want you to paywall your cool character in it.
But the Fusilier Forward Observer, the Nox Forward Observer.
A paramedic, whatever.
Yeah.
We're talking intro stuff. So I think, to fill you in, John, as he's peeing his life away.
Yeah. Always.
It would be cool if he brought this up. More of the paint sets. And I think they should link the paint sets to the new starter sets. New starter set, 2-player. Pano gets a paint set, Vallejo paints or whatever. Vallejo.
Whatever.
Vallejo, sorry.
Whatever contract they're able to negotiate.
And you toss a special regular in or a Bogmari or whatever.
Yeah, Pano bullshit, whatever, sure.
Some Forward Observer fucker that you don't care that much
it's
about.
like what they're doing currently.
What they did a long time ago.
Yeah,
they haven't done any new ones in a long time.
Fair. Okay, yeah.
I think if they dropped imagine if they dropped one for Cosmo with just a random.
Get Cosmo sold out with his helmet down.
Man, I'd buy that and throw the paints out. I'd throw the paints at you. Sorry.
Thank you. I'll take the paints. But just something
I think timing it with the starter sets would be good.
Yes.
I think what they did before was great.
I completely agree.
But I think if you made every new 2-player starter set launch, or maybe the next release after with Beyond was your paint set.
Yeah.
Launch would be cool though.
Yeah.
Right? You have your essentials, your paint kit, your starter set, your 2-player starter set.
So you're talking just some tack on little fucker.
Yeah, like they did before, right? Here's your Fusilier Forward Observer.
Think about what GW does, where it's you get 3 fuck-off models and a paint set.
I'd rather not think about what GW does.
Fair, but I do think that GW is, in terms of
hobby, they do great.
They are the way they are a company to emulate.
They market to the bottom of that hobby trumpet, right?
Yeah,
whatever they call it.
The dipshit 11 or 12-year-old who's I don't know how to paint anything. Give me your paint set.
What was it? Their analytics showed that most of their sales were from middle-aged women.
What?
A huge amount of their sales was middle-aged women buying their 12, 13-year-olds toys. So that's what they market a lot of their shit to. You're
wild.
Not a wargamer. You're not a hobbyist. You're buying this for your kid who's 15 or whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
So when you look at a lot of their targeted structures, a lot of the new player, here's the shit you buy, and that's what you need to go do the thing.
And it's Mom, it's not. I didn't want Necrons. I wanted Tau. And she's oh, I'm sorry, honey.
And it might be different here in the States, and especially California and San Diego, where it's hyper competitive meta at all times.
Mom, this is bullshit. I'm gonna get a table, you fucking nub.
I'm sorry, honey. I just wanted you to have fun.
Get deported.
They just released new Vespid models, and they made the rules so good. I need 3 of the new 2-player kill teams.
I need my Vespid Stingwings, Mom.
Mom, bathroom.
Yeah.
But
I do recall when they did those Vallejo sets.
Yeah, they're great.
And it was a Forward Observer.
It's a fine model. It's a cool model. Yeah. Right?
And it was awesome.
Nothing that's crazy, but it at least gives someone a model, paints to follow, an Angel tutorial that is not nearly as in-depth as you'd want it to be, but at least gets the job done.
Yeah.
And I think it might be better without a tutorial from Angel and maybe something more geared towards...
Exactly.
Peachy.
Or no, but again...
From Duncan. Duncan paints Infinity now.
I mean, a slap chop, whatever. There's a couple ways they could go about this.
Dude, okay.
Flans Miniatures does some phenomenal videos about, basic Infinity painting.
Just block out your fucking colors, right?
Tabletop artist kicks ass.
Yeah, and
dude,
there's
I'm
so
such
many...
a scrub. Just tell me what colors I need and tell me where I put them, and I'll do it.
And that's what I'm saying. Get a color by numbers.
Yeah.
With maybe a dry brush.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're clever about your content, right? Maybe you can make it so when they buy their 2-player starter set and they're beyond, that extra little mini helps you build your 5-man core fire team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because often these sets come with like 2 or 3 of your line troops.
Well,
Not necessarily enough
maybe-
that you need. Yeah.
And then maybe a wild card or like
So from what I saw, the essentials is 6 minis.
I don't care about the
And,
essentials.
and, then the real starter, the sandstorm,
yeah,
quicksand, whatever it's
Darude?
called. I don't know.
Darude.
I forget what it's called.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, buddy.
I got you.
Crab Brave.
Nope, not the same.
Nah. But they're like 14 plus 1, I think.
14
So
plus 1.
That's what. That's
7
what it
and
said.
7.
Oh, 7.
Seven,
No, that
seven,
makes sense. 7, 7 and
a
promo.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same as before.
Yeah.
That's what they've always been doing.
But the Essentials kit might be part of a stopgap for the rest of the...
Sand trap.
Yeah, alright, Sandstorm. Darude.
The one concern I have with the Essentials kit is, especially the Pan-Owens, are those models going to be compatible
The
with
one.
that
You get
sectorial?
one.
The
You get
3.
one. You get one. You get one concern. You said the one concern.
Oh, it's the 3.
So you
oh,
get
I'm
one
fucked up.
concern.
Is-
Sorry.
Don't worry, I have several concerns about it, and Carl
Yeah,
can take
no.
them.
You get one.
My
Bruce gets as many as he stated. You get one.
My 3 concerns.
You get one.
No, I'm
You're-
giving 2 of mine to him.
So 2 of Bruce's concerns.
Okay.
Is that Fusilier Orc going to be compatible, air quotes compatible,
With the
that
aesthetic
sectorial?
of
I
that
hope
sectorial.
so. I would assume
we
so.
We don't know.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and assume the
but
the
it's-
terrain set is the same.
But it's weird because
Those are Ice Storm models.
yeah, that's
Sure.
a basic Fusilier,
Are-
which is not in Shock Army by the way.
Or hey, also too, maybe they're placeholders.
They're not.
No, they're not.
Because they're legacy models, and
Yep, fair enough.
They said classic minis.
Fair enough.
now Shock Army does get orcs, so that's good. Well,
They don't get Fusiliers.
they do not get Fusiliers.
Or maybe regulars just get rolled up into Fusiliers.
I'd be so
I would-
fine with that.
I honestly, I think that's the right move.
I think that there have been too many diverse line
I
troops.
think
too much
regulars.
diversity in my
I
game,
think
Carl.
regulars are like an older edition of War Game.
Yeah,
From what we're at.
that's
you know?
fair.
Except for Ariadna. Ariadna still gets every fucking flavor of line troop under the sun.
And
Because they deserve
And
it.
they're all different, sir.
Yeah.
They're all distinct
So are
and
these-
unique
these are-
and uniquely shitty.
Regulars are actually very distinct. Do you
How
know what
so?
regulars? So they're whip 13.
That-
They're armor 0.
Wow.
Train jungle, who cares? They have access to a Spitfire. That's very rare on
That
a
is
basic
huge.
line troop. They have a Sapper multi-sniper.
You know
They
what?
have a sensor mine layer triangulated fire with shock mines.
One of my only ever Cosmoflot mirror matches, I lost to a dude who bought a rocket AP marksman rifle, and the second he announced that in his list, I demanded a high five because he was my fucking hero.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you are a fucking legend. I don't care how this game goes. I intend to beat your ass. I
But-
didn't.
But we'll see how that goes.
He didn't bring an Ranger, which I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't
B,
know.
he brought an AP marksman rifle rocket. B, what the fuck is wrong with you? I still lost that game. But goddamn, like
So worth noting, the regular hacker is very interesting too. You ready for
it's
this?
Whip 13.
No, not forget that.
I mean,
No.
forget the biggest
So
deal.
is your dick hard?
Not yet.
Because it has a grenade launcher, combi rifle,
Ooh.
fast
Ooh.
panda,
Ooh.
Now you've got my attention.
but it also costs 1 swick
Ooh.
and 1 point more than a Fusilier hacker. But-
You have my attention at Fast Panda Hacker
Grenade
that-
launcher. Honestly,
Fuck.
he can target someone and spec fire on them. Him or herself. There's a lot of female regular models.
Okay, I understand.
I'm telling you, this is as distinctive as the 15 fuck off versions of Cossacks
Yes, absolutely.
that still probably don't need to exist. You could roll regulars into Fusiliers and I would not give a shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd actually be happier. Now, I'd be a little sad. Because regulars are actually better than Fusiliers in vanilla.
In like
I
a
never
lot of
take
ways.
them, but they are.
I'd rather have Whip 13 than R1.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like in so many ways.
Especially because they still have forward observers, they have hackers, they have sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Like a 13-point sensor on whip 13 is like.
Yeah, like oh, you just need to
On
roll a 20 to fuck
top
this up.
of the fact that it's a zero Swick mine layer.
Ooh.
Deployment zone only, right? Blah 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 blah. But like, so those are my two flavors of line.
Just a random reminder that I'm the only person in Swiss Miss to defeat Liquid Carl. Handily. And I love that guy. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Great player, great opponent.
Amazing.
Lovely
I would play him again in a heartbeat. I
Yes,
love that
100%.
guy.
1000%. That was a fantastic, fun, engaging. Actually, it wasn't engaging. I was desperately spec firing EM grenades at him for 2 turns. I'm like, my only attack vector left is this prone asshole with EM
And
grenades.
the only reason he didn't run his Swiss Miss Bane list was the fact that we're playing Biotech War. So
I love that when he played me, he was like, I was going to do a different list for this, but I beat all your homies in this list.
Such a power move.
I was like, uh-oh.
I
fucking power
love
move.
that.
I did not expect the second tag.
A second tag. Sir, a second tag has been deployed on the table.
I'm so sorry. I dismantled
Because he had the Teak Belong out. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can handle a Teak Belong. And then the Dragos came like, oh my god.
The way that game went, if you told me he beat all y'all, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm so sorry.
It was great.
My vocal
I
act
was-
just gaped
Dude,
him.
I was playing Invincible Army, mocked
Yeah.
up as Torchlight. So,
Yeah.
like, as WYSIWYG as I could get, using Torchlight models,
Yeah.
playing Invincible Army
Yeah.
at a GT.
No, this is really on Morgan.
He should have won.
Yeah, this is on Morgan. I'm sorry if you're listening, Morgan. You started this enmity, and you're welcome that I corrected it.
But also, I would love to have the Dragos back too.
Yeah.
It bums me out that Pano doesn't have an HRMC tag.
That would be a cool...
Dude, what a cool weapon.
Yeah, and like it's like a quintessential tag weapon, and Pano is a tag faction, air quotes. And yes, I know the Dragos exist, but it fucking doesn't. You cannot buy one.
Yeah.
They're unobtainium.
Nope, they're
Yeah.
not. You can attain them.
Yeah? How
eBay.
much?
I think I got mine for like 60.
Black Legion Market.
Do they have one? I don't think they do.
Let's find out.
I think a lot of the Shock Army stuff is like not even really that accessible, and
No, you got to be lucky.
in the pirate game. I think even Shock Army is a little tough to get.
I think you're right. I'm gonna look it up anyway.
I would have bought it. I would have bought Bogmari
I
if I
believe
could
it.
have. Because I think the Bogmari are a really sick model.
They are fucking dope.
Because I love Kamau, and these are just like a different flavor of Kamau. Actually,
they're
inverse.
Swamp Kamau. They're the Shrek of Kamau.
They're a little different. They have thigh armor because they're
They're-
medium infantry.
They're the Shrek of Kamau. They're thick and they're swampy.
They're terrain total.
Get 'em a
Kamau.
swamp.
They're not just terrain swamp. What
Get
is
'em a
terrain swamp?
swamp.
That jungle?
Get-
That's the other thing. Regulars, terrain jungle. Someday it
Get
will
out
have
of their
its day.
swamp.
I don't know. I do in general think that the unique, like the sectorial unique line infantry are kind of just a tax on your army bag. Like you get all these different line troops for all these different sectorials within your army, and you're like,
That's fair.
do I need like 10 grunts and 10 Cossacks and 10 metros and well, definitely not metros and 10 volunteers and 10 rockets?
Oh, definitely not.
But
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on Black Legion for the Drago.
yeah, they're
What page are you on?
46?
46? What the fuck, dude? I'm on page 1 of 5.
I started at the back because that's where the older sculpts are.
Did you not sort for Pano? Because there's 5 pages of Pano.
okay. If you could change any one model of an army that you quite like,
Bearpode.
I
That
give
you
Bear
quite
Pose
like.
Spitfire.
The one with BS6 though, right?
No. BS11. Give me a Spitfire.
You know
AP
what-
Spitfire.
you know
It's
what else?
Ariadne. Sorry.
Speaking of guns, you know what else I want changed? Assault pistols.
Yes.
Make them damage 11.
So
Dude,
Fuck
for
'em.
fucking real.
Fuck them.
before I interrupted you, what was your full question going to be?
No, so pick a model in an army that you love that you would update or change in some way in N5.
I would like Rodox to get updated because they're super cool models and the rules just aren't there for them.
Great choice. Follow-up question: are they all going to be medium infantry?
I have them medium infantry.
I'm just teasing.
I give them a
'cause
points discount and I give them all strategic deployment.
I would give Blackjack's Tackaware.
Fuck yeah, I love that change.
Yeah.
Tabler and NCO. Fuck it.
Nah.
No, I'm down for that too.
Fine.
Because that makes them distinct from the Minutemen.
They're distinct from the Minutemen, and that I want to bring them.
Okay, fair.
To talk about USARF, I would love a Minuteman change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Minuteman piss me off almost more than any other model in this game.
Minutemen are disqualified from your question, and that's the model I love. Like, I wish to God Minutemen were entirely
Anything
different.
useful.
I remember when I first started Infinity, I thought Minutemen were like the like quick heavy infantry version
Which
of
they
Ariadne.
were because they
Yes.
were 4/4 in an army that was a little bit sluggish.
I'm just thinking of the Sculpt where it's that dude like kind of almost picking up a fucking Halo bazooka off the ground. You know? Like
Yeah.
it just
They're cool, like,
they were.
but they're so.
They're boring
22
as
points gets you a
fuck,
rifle,
dude.
light flamethrower with extra burst at BS 13, Phys 13, Armor 3.
I think US Ariadne currently
I would love a rework to US Ariadne.
exists in such a bizarre space where they're not
Good at anything.
great at anything. Yeah, I mean, dude, US Ariadne is so bad it canceled Mayacast.
Rest in peace.
All I'm saying
All right, gentlemen. I don't know if we can top that line.
is that Kip played US Ariadne against Bruce, and then Mayacast stopped being on the air. So
Correlation does not equal causation.
all
You know,
I'm saying is
it's
I
funny
think that's related.
Because I love USARF, and I don't want them to change that much.
No,
Because I
think they
like
should
that
get
they're
better.
different from the rest of Ariadne,
I
that
think
they're
give
less
them a-
tricksy.
I think give them a fuck ton of D charges.
Yeah, it was weird how few D charges they
I
had.
honestly think staple D. I think staple shitty D charges. Like
Yeah.
nerf D charges and then give them to most
Like
of US Ariadne.
everybody that should have them,
Yeah,
which is almost
for
everybody.
Real.
I
Like,
also think Minutemen should have MSV1. They have little
yes.
goggles on them.
Dude,
and
they have goggles, and I think give them regeneration.
I'm down for that too.
I think you know what? For the fact that they're a fucking one wound heavy infantry.
With no upside, no
Right,
mimetism.
right.
They're not
Give
great
them-
at CC.
No, they're not good at anything.
They're just
Give
okay
them-
at everything.
give
They're
them-
even whip 12.
Dude,
Like,
they are like, and then you look at like something like an Invader, and you know what? An Invader is a bad choice because
because it's
Invaders
really
are good.
pushed.
Look at something like a Digger. Like,
Don't do that.
no, but like for real, that it's sad.
Yeah, well, I don't know what else I have to say.
I have
after all
one
of
more
that.
thing. We're talking about USARF, and you awakened something that fucking needs to change.
Your boner?
No, that's doing great, sir. Fucking Marauders need courage or get rid of guts. Guts checks.
Ooh. Yes, because
so-
they're dogged, right?
So for those of you that don't
Yeah.
know, Marauders are dogged and not courage. They used to be courage, but they're not courage. What that means functionally, in a game, you have a Marauder standing up with a heavy rocket launcher behind a wall, sitting next to his paramedic buddy, which they can have. Marauders can be paramedics. He gets shot. He takes a wound. At this point, you must decide, do you go dogged or not? If you go dogged,
You're fucked.
you go dogged, and now, after that decision, you must roll guts. If you fail guts, your arrow rocket launcher goes prone, bleeds out.
Which is officially the most guts and courage has ever mattered in the entire game.
So either you get rid of guts, which honestly, fine. I hate. Okay, get rid of guts. I'd be here for it.
Says the Pano player, you fucking whip 12 having, orcs not having courage, bullshit, you fucking pansy ass, liver lilied motherfucker.
I co-sign everything John has just
I
said.
hope my fucking faction doesn't get the one downside we get for being pussy ass, wet dick bitches.
Oh, it's not the one downside.
Look, okay.
They don't have access to APHMGs.
Or smoke.
Right.
But also, how dare you, sir? There are women in our army. Please, insult their vaginas.
Right, vagina.
And also, hey, also, according to the lore, Fusiliers have smoke grenades.
Yes, it's true. No, so here's
No smoke using.
Here's my reason. Something does a walking drive-by shooting at something. Let's say it goes prone. Can no longer be seen at the end of the order.
Sure.
Hits the target. Target fails guts. What the fuck does it do? What movement is it allowed to get when it fails its guts to improve its cover?
What do you mean? It goes prone.
Does it? Or can it also go around the wall to stop it from being shot again from the spot at which it was shot?
Wait. Am I dumb? Am I missing something here?
So, what I'm saying is because of the way guts works, right? You have to either
Improve your
improve
cover.
your cover situation, which is
Right.
either go from no cover to partial cover or partial cover to full cover.
Right.
If you cannot do that, you go prone.
Right.
If an enemy at one point in its movement saw you and at the end of their movement didn't and shot you, where can you improve your cover to and from, or do you just have to go prone?
I think... Okay.
This is
I
my
would-
point. The fact that you don't have a straight...
No. I need to think about it for a second. I would think you freeze the moment of attack at the point at which the attacker declared the attack. You then improve cover from
Did
that
you-
point.
Is that how it works, or is that how you think it works?
Ooh.
I
How it
don't-
should work.
I don't know.
How many
This
years
is-
have we been playing this edition?
Since it existed. All of it.
So that's my point. It's
So
like that.
so here's where I'm thinking.
I'm not
though, right?
disagreeing with that assessment. I'm not saying you're wrong, but the fact that that interaction exists.
Oh, it's wild.
Or what if the attacking model has died? Because you templated it.
Right. And you know what? To this day, I don't actually get how that works, especially when it comes to like guts checks with multiple points of attack.
Right.
You know,
from
like,
a coordinated order, how do you do that? Or an arrow.
right.
Like
from,
three
from
things
multiple arrows. Right.
You go,
How
ow.
Especially when.
Can you improve cover
Especially
from
when
one
the
but not the
ARO,
other?
yeah, exactly. Especially when the ARO, like when you get shot at by like three
If
different
you-
models and you survive. Let's say they all.
Let's say
hit
two
you.
of them, two or three of them hit you.
Yeah,
right?
2 or 3 hit you. How do you decide how your guts moves you
Improves
out
your
of
cover.
Yeah, improves your cover based on the fact that there might be 2 or 3 conflicting inputs on how that works.
You just go prone and cry.
I mean, honestly, most of the time,
Honestly,
in-game,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I do because I don't want to ask the question.
Right. I'd be like, fuck it, we're out of here. And you know what?
Or
I'm
not
playing-
even out here. I'm just gonna go prone because I don't want to deal with this.
I just yell, I'm playing Ariadna. I have courage.
Unless I'm a marauder. So,
Not my sectorial.
so,
I'm playing Cosmoflot. My
so-
rules are current.
Shocking.
so that bears the question though: does guts add to the game? In active turn, it barely does.
Okay. It
And
has.
could it be replaced by you may choose to go prone when you are hit by an attack and survive it?
Okay. The fact that it's involuntary has mattered a lot. It has mattered a lot. And I think it's a big deal. Especially against the Panos of the world. Especially against this fucker.
Oh, dude, I don't give a shit about guts.
No.
I will fail every guts roll. It doesn't. It almost never matters to me.
it does matter.
The fact that I can shoot something, hit it, and then get it to go prone
I get
against its will has saved
It happens
games
to my
for me.
Fusilier missiles all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's
But
humongous for
is
me.
that worth the overhead cost of the rule?
Yes.
Being it's forgotten all the time. It's not enforced properly in active turn.
Not when I care about it. Not when I care about it. When I care about it, I remember that shit.
When you care about it.
No,
Is it worth the overhead?
You know what? And then when my opponent cares about it, it's on him to care about it. I'll remember it to the best of my honorable ability.
No, I do too. And like, but is it worth the overhead?
Yes.
See, I'm not sure it is.
Yes. You say that because you're a Pano player and it's your weakness, and fuck you.
No, it's not my weakness.
No, I'm saying that like with love. But
No,
but like for real, it's a real important thing for me.
So most of the time I care about it, I just do it voluntarily.
Right.
And I'm going prone 99% of the time. It's some idiot on a roof who's just done with this fight. Right? You maneuvered and you're at a position where I'm not down. You hit me once. I survived inexplicably. Fucking later, bro. Right? That is most of my use of guts.
Instinctively feel how many times it's mattered to me on both sides.
For me, I feel like it almost never has functionally mattered. A lot of the time, it has mattered. A lot of the times it comes up for me is when I'm on active turn and I whiff and I eat a bullet and it's like, okay, I failed guts, and then I step around the corner and then I do the same fucking thing I did.
On active turn is when I would say it matters the least. I would say it's inconsequential on active turn. It's on reactive is when it matters the most.
I get that.
It's when you're trying to eliminate...
It's knocking down the Fusilier missile.
It's when you're trying to eliminate a reactive piece.
Inexplicably did not beat its armor with your 15 heavy machine gun shots.
When you didn't kill it, it goes away anyway.
I'm just saying.
And that's huge.
There is a large portion of people that think guts should go away.
And then they're wrong.
I am not sure that they are.
I disagree. I
don't mind it.
I think the fact that courage and whip are skills that you pay for that matter.
Do you pay for them?
You do.
Kind
of.
Ooh, kind of. He immediately walks it back.
I have a question.
He immediately walks it back, fellas.
How many points does William Wallace pay to give his entire army courage? Or do you forget about that? Because most people do.
William Wallace pays by being a piece of shit in close combat. He is
a
useless
warrior.
He doesn't have a fucking lick of martial arts. He is abysmal in close combat. You look at fucking William Wallace and tell me you're happy about him in close combat compared to any other melee retard beat stick.
CC attack +1 damage is pretty important.
Fuck you. That's martial arts level 2.
No, it's immune to natural born warrior.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
CC 24 is pretty good.
He's
natural
good at
born warrior.
He's good at berserking and bullying idiots, and that's about it.
NWI.
He also has an
on an arm 3 1 wound motherfucker.
He's NWI.
And shock immune, so he's basically 2 wounds.
That's another rule I'd get rid of. Like, if you ask me, inspiring presence or whatever, inspiring leadership, get rid of it. I'm done with it.
For all 2 models it matters for.
That's a great reason to get rid of a special rule.
Honestly, yeah.
You're not wrong, but it's such a game-changing difference in those special rules.
You could just add Strategos and give them additional lieutenant.
You know what? If you gave Wallace Strategos, I'd be down.
That's what I'm saying. Give Joan and Wallace Strategos level 2.
Yeah.
And then give them a plus, multiple plus.
Oh no! I'm over here trying to give Pano Strategos.
Also, too, like you don't have to stop at 2 lieutenant orders. Like fucking give them 3. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you could.
But it's a big deal in Ariadne.
And I think you should go away.
Fine.
And again, I think if you do the Strategos change with additional lieutenant orders, you kind of have the same thing.
You get functionally close without the skew problems of mercs and some of the Ariadne bullshit that you could.
I think mercs make it really weird. I think mercs specifically makes it very, very, very fucking weird. But you know what? Having played a Wallace list with mercs, it's actually not that good. I got my ass beat by a Joan list.
I think Ariadne does not benefit
Weird.
as much.
You got your ass beat by a Joan list in Pano. Oh my god, who would have thought that Pano benefits from cheap, irregular mercs?
No,
you know why I lost that game? Principally, because now
I put my nuts in your throat.
Because now tried to fight your Aquila Guard, and I got fucked. On like 1 dice roll. And my fucking chief gunfighter got his head blown off.
Just roll better.
So
I didn't, and that's the issue. So
I just roll better. I don't understand the problem.
You give those guys Strategos, and it's good enough, and then you don't have this extra rule that's lingering around that it's a rule that only matters when you're lieutenant, and that's kind of lame. Like,
Sure.
you know, like
It's important enough for me because I build my list around it entirely. I'd be fine with it going away.
I think it should go away. The thing is, it doesn't help the army that needs it most, military orders.
Yeah.
Like, it
Fuck
doesn't...
'em.
Fair.
Fair.
But, like, it doesn't help that army function the way it wants to. And it, like, skews weird.
So your issue with inspiring leadership is that it doesn't help Joan the way it wants you
50% of the models in the game with the rule do not benefit from it in a way that helps them.
But
the other 50% of the models in the game that have that model have an army that can function well without it and still have a plethora of orders, making the rule redundant, reductive, hard to balance.
So it doesn't help you,
stupid.
so you don't like it.
I just don't think it works as a rule. Like,
no, I'm with you, Carl.
I don't think it needs to exist. I think you can substitute it with strategos too.
Honestly, I'm with you.
And
you know what? I think Wallace lists, like, as a Wallace list player,
yeah,
there's a lot of times I do the math and I'm thinking, is it really worth it?
and that's my thing. Even with Cosmo, I'm like, is this even worth it?
Dude,
And it's
I
like
can-
a mixed bag because
for-
Wallace is a
for-
liability on his own because he's an obvious lieutenant.
He's a weirdly tough lieutenant, though.
He's
hard
weirdly-
to assassinate, but yeah, he is.
He's
easy to
weirdly
kill.
tough, but they know who he is, and
Yes.
a random EM grenade can get him got, right? And now you don't have a lieutenant, and that feels bad, right? Like,
EM grenade is not what I'm worried about.
sure, there's lots of things for him to worry about.
What I will say is that you're spending 35 points
That's the
on a better lieutenant role, and maybe 3 orders a turn efficiency. Because I'm talking.
You're attriting it. Because that's the thing. Strategist might be better because
Yeah,
you know what I
that's the
mean.
thing, right?
It might
Yeah.
be
So,
6
like,
orders in the game rather than
because-
3 orders, then 2 orders.
Man, let me tell
and
you,
0.
that coordinated order is like
It's huge.
I
You know what?
overinflate the importance of it because it's actually very hard to pull off effectively.
It is more important for Joan
Yeah,
than it
I believe
is
that.
for Wallace.
I believe that.
And
because-
if you wanted to make a rule that gave out a free, like a lieutenant that gives out a free coordinated order every turn,
there's a
for
rule
their
for that.
lieutenant.
Yeah, you're right. You can make a rule for it.
and that doesn't do this weird skewing thing, because inspiring leadership is 3 rules in one. It is
It's give everyone
courage.
courage.
It
It's
is
the free coordinated order. It's
not
the-
free. Spend your lieutenant order.
Yes,
That is not free,
you're right.
right? Like,
It's the spend your lieutenant order for a coordinated order, and then it's the make all irregular orders regular.
yep.
I would say that last one's the biggest deal.
It's the one
Especially
you look for.
because
It's the
of-
one you're excited about. Because
It's-
I can get all these extra orders. But then functionally, with both of them,
But it's also the coordinated orders.
Yeah.
That's where it gets
and it
weird.
means you can coordinate irregular troopers with regulars. And that's a big
Exactly.
deal. Now, should that still exist?
I don't know.
Because I think that's something that gets a lot of new players is, oh, I'm going to coordinate order. And it's like, you can't do those guys. Because that's an irregular.
Except
Except
take
if
the
you have-
one of 2 models in the game that can change it.
And they're your lieutenant. Which is not mandatory.
And I'm fine with that, though.
Yeah. I would get rid of it, honestly. I was surprised
I'm
it
not-
survived.
I'm not defending it to the death. I
Yeah.
think there are a lot of issues with it.
But there's a couple... Ooh, Toha.
Oh, I hope they get squatted.
What do we think about Rare Stain? I think it's
No.
fine. I think
it's
Mirror
fine.
Ball
Get
needs
rid
an
of
update.
Get rid of it.
I agree.
Just get rid of Toha.
I think no. I honestly think Mirror Ball is the single biggest issue. I
Yeah.
agree. I think Mirror Ball just turns off like gameplay,
It's so interactive in a way that's...
especially because it's an arrow.
You
Like
know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about smoke changes.
we don't hear anything about it.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, what we want. Our wish list is smoke changes. There's a million things.
You
I
know
think
what,
the
if it-
easiest, not a face-to-face.
Yes.
Boom, done. That
Yes.
changes the game so much alone.
Yes. I'd be down with that. I think that would be realistic to what.
Is happening.
Yes, because man, let me tell you, this is from my hardcore veteran paintball days.
Oh dear lord.
No, I'm just saying, you throw a smoke grenade,
takes a
dude,
minute.
that shit takes like a long time to matter.
And it's
Like,
obnoxious.
But these are sci-fi special smoke
But then why don't
grenades.
ninjas
Sure.
have them?
Because budget cuts.
Suck my dick.
Budget cuts.
No, if you make smoke grenades not face to face,
Yeah.
then
And
you
you know
can't.
what?
You don't just have dodge +3 plus immunity after you win that dodge.
Yeah.
And that's the real problem. Is that
really, dude? I do not like the way current smoke works. It's just the fact that you're right. You win one face to face, and then
on a +3 to your best stat.
You win one face to face on Fizz +3, which you're right is probably your best stat, and then
Because
you're
they don't
just
give smoke
safe
grenades
forever.
to idiots that are Fizz 10.
Right.
Like-
Well, like mostly.
There's a few weird ones.
There's like 2.
Which ones?
I don't know.
There's more smoke grenade launchers on
Yeah.
idiots. Like, a BS-10 Eclipse grenade launcher.
Yeah.
Only one in the game. You can get rid of that too, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, point
There
being,
probably shouldn't be one Eclipse grenade launcher in the game. Like, we don't.
you're not wrong.
We don't
But
need
you know
that.
what? It's your one smoke to shut your faction up. So
Right. In the out of print faction on a meh-ish
Yes.
model
Yes.
that is super niche
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
it's on the BS-10 idiot.
Yes.
Ooh. Grenade launchers. Should they get their +3 range back?
No,
You think they're fine?
I think they're fine.
You think they're fine being always less accurate than a thrown grenade?
I think you work harder to get a thrown grenade there, but I do think there's some weirdness there.
And that they're
Because-
less accurate than mine dispensers?
Because, yeah.
And pitchers and every other...
It's hard to...
It felt like an overreaction to the EM grenade launcher.
It's also hard to just quantify everything and have them be completely the same as everything else in
Yeah.
uniform.
Here's another question. Do you think zone of control pre-measuring, in air quotes, will survive into N5?
I don't want it to. I really don't want it to.
I have such hard feelings about that.
Me too.
I weirdly
It
like
became
it.
it became too much of a crutch for a lot of people
Yes.
in terms of like
I think it made some weapons that did not need buffs
get better.
get better.
Yeah,
AKA
totally.
shotguns, assault
Chain rifles.
pistols, templates in general. Right?
Anything
You
is
know
just-
your template.
You know what? Anything 8 to 16 too.
Right.
Contenders, rifles.
Contenders, rifles.
What they needed it.
Contenders? What? No, contenders are great. All the Aristea people use them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It's annoying.
it's just not something I valued.
It's such a crutch update. Like, that fix.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to.
That doesn't have to change. I just brought it up because it was an interesting...
Yeah, I would
Topic.
like it to
I
go
don't-
away.
I don't love it. I always feel dirty doing it. Is there any... There was some other weird one-off rules I was thinking about that I can't remember right now.
Oh, well, then we have plenty of stuff for
For next time?
next time.
For 3 months from now?
Or whenever I'd like to do at least one pre and one post. Shipyard Showdown 2.
Yeah, I'd like to do that
So
as well.
we'll see what the next couple of months hold for us.
I'll be interested to see what the changes are. I'm most interested in the vehicles.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm also most anxious about the vehicles.
I honestly think they're going to be
I-
fine.
I think it's going to be motorcycle. Like,
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be a huge deal.
Drones and motorcycles.
I think it's going to be drones and motorcycles and maybe like an ATV thing.
That's
right?
a motorcycle.
It might crew too. Right? Like, I don't know.
Sure. They said they're going to be like anime inspired, right? So like,
I'm hover bikes and
I hope to God there's at least one fucking armor suit you can just like summon onto you.
I mean maybe Maximus is a vehicle.
Sure, that's fine.
That would be interesting.
Dude, I hope for I just want more wild shit, you know?
But I also want that wild shit to like function well.
Yeah,
That's my
but
concern.
I'm talking
That's-
I'm talking Zonautica wild shit. I'm talking
And the Zonautica is one of those models that has its own unique rule, and I don't want to change it.
yeah, I'm talking Sujon wild shit. I'm talking
But how will
Roadbot wild
And
shit.
sure, but again, how does that change with the? I don't know, who knows? Well, who knows? I
Yeah,
don't
who
know.
knows?
I'm glad they're not doing like IFVs and any of that shit. Like,
No,
because
there's
it
no
doesn't-
place for that here.
it's such a bad idea. Like,
No, I really think there's no place for it,
it
and
adds
we're never
so
gonna go there.
little, and
They really shouldn't.
it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited for the new edition. I think they're going to do a good job. I just have a lot of apprehension about reinforcements and vehicles,
Yeah.
That's fair.
and a couple of the things I really like. Guided's probably my number one. Like,
And they're
needs to
addressing
be,
it.
and they are. I just hope it's enough. I think it will be.
If they do literally anything to it, I'm happy with it. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. Any single change
Will help
I'm
it.
happy.
Because it's so boring.
You tell me it's -3, cool.
Right,
You
instead of
tell
plus
me,
6.
yeah, like
It's we'll see. I guess the other thing we heard, we didn't talk about this either. The out of print sectorials rules are going to come later. That's what it sounds like, or it'll be like
we
waves.
don't
of
know
rules.
exactly what that is. We just heard
But
some
that's what they did
factions
last
won't
time.
be updated.
And that's what they did last time. It took
Yeah.
like a couple months. It wasn't long.
Right.
It wasn't GW.
We will see.
And you know what, dude? I'm sorry if you fucking play Caledonia. Oh, wait.
Go play Cosmo.
Yeah, no, for real. Play Cosmoflot.
I mean, honestly, Caledonia is lucky to still exist as a sectorial
for real.
because Cosmoflot just steps all over its faction identity.
Cosmoflot steps over a lot of different
Absolutely.
factions.
It's two different ones.
It's Caledonia mostly. Like,
It's Caledonia and MRRF.
right.
I mean, it's the two of them.
Which-
Because you get Paracommandos.
You get the
you
best
Mirage
gunfighter in
5.
MRRF.
Yeah.
You get the best parachutist in MRRF. You get none of the baggage of MRRF.
Wait, who's the best gunfighter in MRRF?
Paracommandos. We've talked about this. Maybe you should just take Paracommando Spitfires as your gunfighter.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I don't know. Moblots now.
They did.
Moblots
still-
have kind of edged their way back into the conversation.
Have they? What did
And
they get?
so
They
is-
got.
So is Braun.
Braun has always been pretty good.
Yeah.
Braun's always been pretty good.
Braun's amazing.
Did Mobots not have the mimetism heavy machine gun before?
They had like one.
I don't think they
profile.
had an
I don't think they
'Cause
had.
now
it.
they have
Did they have a Sapper HMG?
Yeah.
They might have.
Yeah.
Because now they have a Mim Tackaware HMG and a Mim
That's
Tackaware AP Spitfire extra damage.
Those are new.
Yeah, and that AP
Those
Spitfire
are new.
fucks.
Yeah, those are new.
It's still 35 points for a one wound idiot, but you know.
Which is horrific.
Don't look at Unknown Ranger. Just don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
Don't look at literally anyone else in the game at that price point.
Nope, you're right.
35 points for a Mim 3 AP Spitfire plus 1 damage with Tackaware.
With one wound.
Armor 3.
Give me no ending cap. And I'll
You know,
talk about it.
it's actually not the worst rate.
Dude.
For an AP Spitfire with plus 1 damage, that's a pretty good gun. It's a pretty good gun.
Show me something comparable.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait. I don't know if I have that long, but I'll wait.
What's a good
Straight
one?
up.
A Crusader Brethren Spitfire.
You said a good one.
Yeah, you wanted a
You
comparable
said
one.
a good
Armor 3, 1 wound,
You
34
said a
points.
good one. Not a one.
So let's see. What do we got? What do we got in Pano? Probably not a whole lot else. I mean, Vargars are in that fucking awful category.
A Nice Spitfire is probably the closest I can think of in Pano.
A Vargar Spitfire is 29 points. That's a 1 wound armor 3 guy with no special rules. Except for albedo. And jump.
And we've agreed the Vargas suck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the Moblot is not alone and actually significantly better than this. At only 6 points more, you get Mimetism, AP plus 1 damage. That's pretty much it.
And they get albedo.
I mean, sure.
That's something. And super jump.
No, they are not comparable with the modern design.
I was really hoping they'd at least get Doggett.
I think more the like Minutemen having Doggett. Like there's things
I
you
would
could
hope
do.
no wound in cap. No wound in cap would have been where I wish they went.
Oh, what about
I would have settled for Doggett.
God, what are some terrible medium infantry? There have to be some.
Rodox.
Rodox, there we go. What's a Rodox cost these days? They have Mimetism, so
20, high 20s probably, low 30s.
Same. Where the fuck are the Rodoks? There they are. So a Rodok Spitfire, most comparable weapon, is 28 points. So it's 7 points cheaper.
What
No,
is the Rodok?
The Rodok. But no mimetism, worse armor.
Wait, no, Rodoks have Mim 3.
You're right, they do have mimetism. Worse, no AP, lower damage. Pretty comparable, which is not great. Super jump. Better super jump.
And
Useful
veteran.
super jump. And veteran. Yep. Mobot should have been 6'2".
I think Mobile should have had
Or Dogged.
no Winding Cap or Dogged.
Yeah. One or the other.
Well-
Either make him the fast heavy infantry
Sure.
for the rapid response, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Fine.
Because then they can have a not very distinguished place in like vanilla Ariadna when you compare them to the other
Yeah.
guys.
No, right now they're weird.
They're weird. They're weird. They're not great. They are better than they were.
I'm better.
God, the French. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you're playing an out of print faction that's been that out of print as the French.
Now they're the reinforcements package.
Right.
It's still not great.
The French and the shock armies, like, and the Caledonian. What are the other? Oh, Kwaki, Kopi, whatever.
Captain
Kapu
Koki.
They're weird. I'd like to see them reworked too.
Who?
QK.
Yeah. But the reinforcements guys. So
I know.
Who knows?
And they might be better suited not in the game. They're a weird army.
They are. But man, were they fun.
Yeah. I just wonder what they're going to do with Toha in the long
Fuck 'em.
run.
That's what.
Fair.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes Toha. Sorry, Xander.
Sorry, Xander. No, I'm not. Fuck you.
But the fact that they still have so many
Hey,
spiral
play
boxes.
JSA. That's your shit, right? Like.
That was his shit. I think he might have gotten rid of all of his
I
JSA
don't know.
stuff.
He said it was shit.
No, I think he sold all of his JSA stuff.
Oh, I think he did. Or maybe some of
I
it.
think he sold it at Lost and Con.
Do we think O12 is going to get another sectorial?
I hope not. I really hope that they don't do the fucking cum biker sectorial either.
God,
They won't. They really won't.
They might with vehicles.
But
No, but like they
Mhm.
haven't. I don't know. I really think that was such a nerd wish list.
I think
but
so.
it's something that they've been like they talked about and people have latched on hard.
I am so not interested in it. Like, I don't know. I hate bikes.
Yeah. So we'll see. N5, I'm very excited.
No, it's going to be good, I think. I know we got a little wish listy there, but even if not much changes, it'll be good.
Agreed.
I'm excited to see the Pano. That's what I'm most excited about. I want to see what are my new Pano models.
Nah,
what
dude, that
sectorials
JSA
this?
stuff. Give me like a what was it, the Tycho drum model for like the
Do we-
the promo shit? I'd love that.
Do we know anything about the JSA
No.
sectorials, like names
No.
or anything?
No. Unless
cute?
they talked about it in the most recent studio update, which I don't think they did.
It's going to be interesting to see if you have like heavy infantry JSA and then like a different type of JSA, a more
We'll see.
mid range or mid.
We'll see.
It's going to be weird.
Only
They're getting
time
their own
will-
remotes. That's another thing, right?
Yeah, which I'm excited about. All of the JSA sculpts have been cool. So we'll see.
Did they show the new, what's his name? Sora? Whatever that character guy is.
No, I
That-
don't believe so.
Hasn't had a model in 20 years. Anyways, let's end it there. It's getting late.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. Just reading chat to see. Morgan, you're playing World of Warcraft. The fuck is wrong with you?
You fucking nerd.
All right, we might spiral if we keep doing this though.
Anyways, have a good one, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye. I love you. Bah, 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 bah. So